is...
Everybody
Oh my
popping
god,
off.
my mic is fucking up. Give me a sec.
I know. I'm actually pretty excited for that.
Alright.
That's
Stream is
really
live.
cool.
We are good to go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And for the first time in a while, welcome everybody. We got everybody here today.
Yeah.
Everybody here.
Welcome back to the Dark Crusade. I will be your DM as always. Let's have some fun. What happened last time? Well, politics. Lots and
So much
lots
politics.
of politics. Hours,
Thump
you could
thump.
say, of politics.
We
Or
recognize
recognized as a
Patrick.
DM.
Also known as, yeah, Patrick talking to himself for like 30 minutes sometimes.
I think it was like an hour.
It was more than an hour.
Well,
I was
I mean,
purposely not talking to make Patrick talk to himself.
Anyway, so politics. Oh, Zach rolled a nat 20 for his initiative
Yeah.
today.
I got 18.
Yeah, I'm popping off.
So, politics happened. You all finally arrived in the capital. Yeah! Cass Arcadia. Yeah, Cass Arcadia. Woo!
Let me just remember the name of my kingdom real quick.
You all arrived in the capital. And you were met by none other than the beautiful and disguised Lady Nadali herself,
Whoop, whoop.
who gave you the rundown on everything, on the
Yes.
26 members of the council, who all
That's
had their
definitely what
own
she did.
stories. Who all had their own interests that they were looking out for. And she basically told you, hey, try to get them in line. Try to get them to be of one mind going forward. And you all were like, yeah, we got it. Moving on ahead, you had hours of politics. You were given the rundown on the current state of Cadia as a whole, of how in Tanith there is a vote being held to see if it'll actually secede from Cadia. In the north, how most of poor Kieran's tribe, the Grey Hunters, were nearly wiped out as they had to hold the Giants because for the first time in its history, the Wall of Roos in the north was breached by the Giants. And how there is basically a giant blood feud happening in the north, and it was preventing the North from participating in the rest of Cadia's issues, basically. And then how in the front has stabilized in Caliban, but the Istvanians have moved very far north at this point. They're only a day's march from Kassar Caliban itself.
Not good.
And you were all attempting to mitigate these problems, basically. Try to figure them out. Try to get Cadia to stay united, despite all of the other provinces basically trying to look out for themselves and pull away.
And secede.
And
Which was
secede.
it that was seceding? Was it the north?
It was Tanith that's trying to secede. The North is in danger of spiraling into a civil war with itself. Tanith
Right.
is so disappointed with the rest of Cadia it wants to pull
Is
away
Tanith
from
in the
Cadia.
south?
Tanith is in the west.
Okay, thank you.
It is the western province. So if you think of
I'm
Cass
bad with
Arcadia,
directions.
if you think of Cass Arcadia as the central province, you've got the north, which is
Yeah.
collectively known as Fenris. You've got the east, which is known as the Glasslands. The south is Caliban, and west is Tanith,
Okay.
with
thank you.
Cadia centered in the center of it. Anyway, moving on. You attempted to mitigate these problems, or at least try to come up with a solution. And you did, kind of.
Question mark.
You convinced the North to have a honor duel between
Oh,
champions,
yeah! That's
between
right.
champions from the
Instead of-
Silverjaws
That's me.
tribe,
Instead of all of them killing each other.
the Silverjaws tribe, and the Sons of Roos, which has not happened yet, but that's what you convinced them to. And
Get front row seats to that bitch.
you convinced Kassar Creed, the king of all of Cadia, to dispatch more troops, including some of his own from his own house, to Tanith to kind of be like, hey, we're still here, I'm still in charge.
Like when the royals go to fucking Ireland to keep them from seceding.
Let's
Or
not
keep
bring
them
up
from leaving.
my family's past.
Potato.
Northern Ireland will join Ireland one day. Anyway, moving on.
Never.
You convinced them to dispatch troops, including troops from Cassar Creed's own forces, to Tanith. And Creed has said that Creed has called for basically knightly houses, if they so wish, to volunteer forces to go to both the west and the north to try to help solve some issues. Who knows if it'll work, but that was the solution.
Love
Finally, you requested a meeting with Cassar Creed himself, which has been granted, and which we will get to. Moving ahead, a week's time, you all were approached by a man known as Loken Tarvitz, who you had recognized was a seating member of the council. He occupied a position of he was kind of like the foreign minister, I guess you would say. He knew of the relations with the city states that are not a part of Istvan or Cadia that occupy the far south, beyond Caliban's borders.
Yeah.
You met with Loken Tarvitz. He asked if you would join him for a luncheon. He said he had requested some more of the council members attend, etc., etc. You accepted. Like, oh yeah, let's get some lunch. You had an absolutely delicious lunch with some delicious wine, and you found out that Loken Tarvitz is actually the man sent by Magnus, our great friend, to be the contact for you all in Cadia. The man that Magnus said he would, contact you through. But you discovered something about Tarvitz, or rather he told you. Tarvitz hates Magnus. In fact, Tarvitz and a small group of people like him are borderline heretics in Istvanian culture. Because they don't believe Istvan's a god, and two, they welcome people from all races, not just humans. Loken Tarvitz made you a proposal. Help him disprove the godhood of Cadia, because he also dislikes Cadia, and and help shake things up in Cadia. And he would help take out Magnus for you.
Sounds like a pretty solid deal.
That sounds too good to be true, though.
Fair enough.
That sounds fishy.
Help Tarvitz disprove Cadia's godhood, and Tarvitz will help you take out Magnus, basically.
But
no.
I mean, to be fair, we all know someone, and we've all been someone who fucking hates their boss. So like,
Yeah, dude. I know about Rise of Skywalker.
Anyway,
we don't
sorry,
talk about
Patrick.
this. Moving on. Leaving Tarvitz's house with that idea circling in your head, you returned to Lady Nadali's house to find a very exasperated-looking Nadali standing outside, who approached you and informed you that the good old Sergeant Siegfried had run into his brother, Lucius von Siegfried, and they hate each other.
Yeah.
And Siegfried, Sergeant Siegfried, or Leopold Siegfried as his full name is, has been disowned by his family.
Mm-hmm.
And we will get to that in a moment, because you all have a very important meeting to go to. This takes place 2 days after the meeting with the council.
Oh.
You are all sitting around Nadali's house. She has a very nice, like, study room in her front door entrance.
Like a library?
Like a library, yeah. Filled with all manners of intrigue books and the customs of various other peoples and other countries and city-states. Because of course she does.
Yeah.
When you hear a knock on her door.
Ursula is reading a book on burial practices in the north, and she is so absorbed in it that she does not notice.
You hear a shuffling of footsteps, and Nadali descends from her room upstairs.
I am looking.
And
Well,
she
one of you can answer the door. Sorry.
she
No,
looks
I'm looking.
around, and she goes up to her door, and she opens the door, and she's kind of filling up the door, so you can't really quite see past. But you see she's nodding, and she says, "Oh yes, yes, please come in, darling, please." And she steps back into the room, and in steps a large man in plate mail armor, in the colors of Cassar Creed, the halved blue and white colors.
Right.
He is a human man, he's clean shaven. He looks a little young, maybe like late 20s, early 30s.
Mm.
And he steps into the room, and he looks at all of you seated around, and he presents himself as so. He says, "I am Bastilan, equerry to Cassar Creed."
Ursula doesn't look up from her book, but she says, hail and well met.
Hold on, I'm scrolling through some pages. He
Or
says, "I am
sad, huh?
Bastilan, equerry to Cassar Creed. I have been," and he nods when you introduce yourself. It says, "I have been dispatched to retrieve you all for the meeting with the Cassar that it was promised to you."
Cool. Ursula bookmarks her page.
Sounds good.
What are the rest of you guys doing? Give me some flavor. Give me some taste.
I'm looking. I said sounds good.
I'm just chilling. Winkums isn't really the talkative type.
Yeah.
Not today, at least.
Just
He's
vibing.
just sitting there.
It's just sitting
Yeah.
there.
Helmet is on, by the way.
The helmet is
Of course,
we-
always.
Are we going
So
now?
the
make
glasses
sure
on?
that's clear. No, the glasses they're tucked away in like my pouch.
That's in the communal disguise kit.
Yeah,
God.
just in case it's needed, I always have it on hand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
Are we
Yeah.
leaving now? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go.
going? Yeah, let's
We
go.
move.
I'm not doing
Alright.
anything.
I got nothing
You-
better to do. Shit, let's meet with the king.
He nods and he turns and he steps outside. Averlin joins you. You step outside and you see that the good Sergeant Siegfried is sitting on a chair outside in his typical position where he keeps watch on the house. It's early afternoon, by the way, probably a little bit afternoon.
What's the weather like? Sorry to interrupt.
Sure, let me roll for it. The weather is overcast. The weather is overcast. You step outside, and you see that Siegfried is sitting with a man. He's an older man. He is wearing he's wearing a fine suit. In the colors of. Give me one sec. Yes, there we go. He was wearing a fine suit in the colors of yellow and gold, or excuse me, not yellow and gold, yellow and green. Excuse me.
Can I make what check would it be to figure out or try to figure out like which house that is?
we'll say insight. See if you've seen
Who
this
has good
before.
insight? I don't know.
Insight.
I might.
Probably.
Oh, my
No.
insight is 6. Never mind.
I've got negative
I was gonna
1,
say, aren't you a
so-
wisdom caster?
Yeah. Oh, you know. Don't worry about it. Okay.
I should point out the man that Siegfried is sitting with. He's
All right.
older.
18.
Nice.
Okay. You do not know the name of the house. However,
Oh, shit.
you did, in passing, see their banner at the meeting. The
Okay.
knights of this house, you noted, or you saw, they wear yellow and gold quartered armor. So,
Okay.
like one
Oh yeah.
pauldron you would say would be yellow, and the other one would be gold, green, for example. I keep saying yellow
Okay.
and gold. Gold and green. There we go. We'll
I
say
know.
it like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You also had seen their banner. Their banner actually looks like this. This was the symbol that you remember on their banner. You saw it in passing, but you remember they had a very distinct color about them. Their banner, this was emblazoned
sorry.
on the banner. I put it in the
Oh
diamonds.
shit.
It's a
That looks dope.
clenched
Okay.
black fist.
Mhm.
So you've seen
The Anal Fister clan.
Mhm.
You've seen
Good point.
their banner. Oh, I should probably send it to you, Johnny. Forgot you're not in the chat.
Yeah, boy.
Wow, Johnny. Way to ruin it for everybody.
Give me a sec. There we go. All right, so you know he's from a knightly house. I'm going to point out he's an older man. He's older than Siegfried. He has his hair. It was brown at one point, but it has mostly grayed, and it's long, and he has it pulled back into a ponytail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a human.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I should have asked that.
And he's sitting with Siegfried, and they're talking to each other when you step outside. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Ursula says, Siegfried, it is time to meet with the Cassar if you are not otherwise occupied.
Siegfried turns and he looks at you, and he turns back and he says, "If you wouldn't mind, lads, I was hoping to maybe miss this one." And he
The meeting with the Cassar?
he
Oh,
nods.
I see.
He nods and
Yeah, that's-
he turns to the man before him and he says, "I'd like to introduce you to Yakton Kador."
Damn.
And,
That's a name.
and the man, he gives a bit of a laugh and he speaks up and he says, "Oh, my Siegfried, you don't need to be so formal. You can just call me Kador," the man says. And he looks at all of you stepping outside and he says, "I take it you're the one that unfortunately has to have poor old Siegfried here guide you all about the lands."
This is our
Who are
gang.
you?
Ah, I was Siegfried's sergeant back in the day, if you can believe it.
Oh. Yes.
I remember when the young whelp came from a lower knightly house and asked me how to swing a damned halberd.
Yeah, we got one of those. Where's that?
Yeah.
Averlin looks
Oh.
around and he kind of looks like he's just kind of in awe at the fact that Siegfried had a sergeant at one point in his life.
I'm more surprised about Siegfried's kind of, well, he's not that old, I guess. He just looks old because he's,
Yeah, he's grizzled.
He's 48, so yeah,
It's
he's
like
grizzled.
not that old.
Not that
It's like What We Do in the Shadows, where he's like, I always looked 16, and life was hard for a 16-year-old back then. That's very interesting.
The thought never occurred to me.
The thought, yeah, me neither. I just kind of figured you were born a sergeant, you know.
Like a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh no, you should have seen this little whelp back in the day. Says Yakton.
Fucking sucked.
That's rude.
This dude was garbage.
Well, what was his name again? Like,
Yakton Kador, he said just call him Kador.
Mr. Kador, perhaps you could
Oh, Kador is just fine. You don't need to put the Mr. in front of it.
power
Yakton
some
it
of
is.
the fuck into
Yakton it is.
Perhaps you could force some battle skills into our personal whelp. His name is Averlin. And he's kind of
He needs it.
ward.
Can we leave him with you?
Yeah, well, I think this.
Send him to boot camp.
Where is this
He
in
was
the
in
timeline
boot camp
of
when
our...
we met him.
Where
We're
is
sending
this in
him
the
back to
timeline
boot camp. We're sending him to a
of
better
our
boot camp.
soul sessions?
It's 2 days after the meeting, so I'm imagining it is before.
It is before any of your.
Okay.
Yes, it is before
Well,
any of your.
That's what I
side
wanted
quests.
to know.
I think this would be a good learning opportunity for Averlin, so I think he should come with us. Unless Averlin, unless you.
Averlin, if you
want
faint,
to
you
go to
can't
the
come.
Well,
Damn, dude.
Oh, come here, young lad. Let me take a closer look at you. My eyes aren't as good as they were, as they used to
Oh
be.
no, he's pulling a grandma.
Averlin,
Dude, he doesn't need eyes. He's
Got
got
game
the
game
fighter
hands.
skills.
That's
Dark
true,
vision.
Averlin steps through.
Rick's right. He does have dark vision.
Averlin is currently wearing his armor, so he's got his cuirass
Yeah.
on,
Stay strapped.
and
He
he's
fucking
he
needs
steps,
it so he doesn't fall and hurt himself.
he steps through,
That's rude, man.
and the man looks him over, and he gives a bit of a nod, and he looks over and he says, "Oh, Leopold, you got a fine protege here." And Siegfried coughs, and he goes, he's just a soldier under my command." Goes, "Oh, don't be like that, Leopold. You're following in my
Leopold.
footsteps like I always said
The
you
only
would."
soldier under his command.
Well, remember,
He had some,
Right
but
now.
we took
no,
him.
Siegfried
We took him
had his
away
own.
from them.
Yeah, Siegfried had his own
Yeah.
detachment. He just
You weren't here.
He just
It's
left
we-
them and only took this
Yeah.
pleb.
Well, because
Well, he knew.
Averlin just happened to be the one.
He
who
happened to
fucking
be in the wrong
heard the
place.
secret
they,
knowledge.
literally wrong place, wrong time.
Right place, right time.
Or
depending
right
on
place,
how you
right
look at
time.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Just like, yeah, he's a superhero.
Says, "Oh, don't
really
be
bad
like
at
that."
it.
Says, "Oh, don't be like that, Leopold. He's a good protege. He's, by the way, his standing, his stance, he does need a little work, but I can see what
Fucking
you see in
roast.
him, Siegfried." Siegfried gives a bit of a cough,
Think
and
fast.
Averlin, he kind of is a little
He's
like awkward. He's kind of
surprised.
shifting on the balls of his feet a little bit. He doesn't
People are
quite know
talking
what
about
to
him in
do.
the third person about 2 feet away.
You hate to see it.
And Siegfried turns to you all and he says, I know it's a little strange, lads and lass, but I'd like to meet with the Cassar, but well, I haven't seen Kador in a long time, and I was kind of hoping to catch up a little bit."
Yes, and it would be kind of awkward. We know how much you hate politics, so we understand.
Less likely for me to run into Lucius that way too.
Oh, good point.
Yes, good point.
Averlin, would you like to attend the meeting, or would you prefer to stay with Siegfried and
Averlin,
Kador?
I'm not giving him the choice.
Bruh.
Averlin turns to you all and he kind of shrugs a little bit and he says, "Well, I don't know. I was kind of hoping to see the Cassar. It's a bit of an
Yeah.
honor, you know."
Well, I just wanted you to know that it's up to you.
It doesn't matter what he answered. He's going.
All
He
right,
looks at-
it'll be a good learning opportunity for you
He
too.
needs the experience.
He looks back at
Yes.
Siegfried and Kador speaks up and he says, "Go, boy, go. Let some old men share some old war stories together."
Perhaps.
They're gonna fucking go down to the bar and mash some fucking Pabst Blue Ribbons and just
That's the worst possible thing you could have said.
It's the truest though.
Yeah.
I think Siegfried is more refined than Pabst Blue Ribbon.
True,
Ah,
he's a straight
Yeah.
straight
Nothing
Budweiser
about
guy.
Siegfried says refined to me.
What? That's rude.
I
He was a
mean,
noble
like-
houseman. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
not anymore.
He got kicked out by his stupid brother.
Yeah, because he was so, like, he hated
Whoa,
the
bro.
nobles so much.
His
Yeah, the nobles
brother's
suck.
not
What
stupid.
I'm saying is it's probably like a form of rebellion. Like, he, like, burps loud and, like, scratches his ass all the time.
Ugh.
No.
Anyway.
Siegfried knows what's up. Siegfried drinks
Anyway.
brandy.
Alright, let's go. Let's go then. We spent way too much time on this porch.
They both nod to you, and Siegfried turns back to start talking with Kador again. You follow Bastilan back on up to the palace. When you get up to the palace, you notice that it has cleared out completely from the actual meeting. You still see here and there. You see various banners, and you see various members of other knightly houses conversing with each other. But for the most part, it's outside of the two guards, Creed's own personal guards, standing outside the palace. You don't see very many people all about.
Right.
Okay.
The banners are still here, though. The banners of those who attended the meeting or were guards at the meeting they're still planted, and they kind of it's like a walkway that leads up to the palace, and on either side of the on either side of the walkway, you see the knightly banners.
And Dahlia's coming with us, right?
Yes, she
No.
is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Let's
She's
go.
coming along.
I figured she had more important shit to do.
Cassar's kind of important.
I
That's a
know.
boss.
I'm the most important here. I'm gonna go
Anyways.
end a civil war.
We're gonna go end
We're
this.
gonna
Oh,
end a
I'm
civil
gonna
war.
end a civil war.
Wait.
No.
Okay, guys. Hold on a second. We're getting ahead of
Kieran
ourselves
grabs his hammer.
here.
You.
Anyway.
Roll for initiative, bitch.
Oh my
Send us
god.
down
You're of the
like
wrong
this.
clan, bitch. You gotta go rebuild a clan.
He's
Oh,
gonna goddamn
you know what?
kill the Cassar.
Johnny, you would have seen what Creed looked like, but I forgot to send you a picture of him, I'm pretty sure. Yes, okay.
Look,
just
I
so
can't
you
wild
know,
shape.
this is what he looks like.
No, I think you sent a. Oh no, never mind. That's not him, is it?
Nope, that's Siegfried I sent you. That's the
Yeah, that's
commission.
right.
That's a commission I got done of Siegfried. This is what Creed looks like. He's younger. He's in probably his early 40s. He has short cropped blonde hair, blue eyes, and he wears two golden leaves on his
How does
crown.
one become
All-American-
Cassar? Can I get into the
All
line for
American
that?
boy.
You can probably ask. him.
Damn.
Good Okay, I'll ask
Lots of
him.
elbow grease.
He's got a
He has to be
beak.
born. Yeah, he
I'm
does.
going to become Cassar.
Anyway, you or Bastilan approaches the front gate, the front door. It's a big golden door, and he approaches, and the two guards salute smartly, and they open the door for you all. Oh, I should point out, Bastilan carries a halberd.
Oh,
Good.
Love to see it.
Lots of halberds.
I
Big halberd
instinctively
guy.
feel more safe.
Pavloni responds.
And he looks at you all, and he holds his hand out for you as if to come on inside.
All right,
Okay.
I go.
I'm walking.
You
Walking
re-enter the palace that you remember from a few days ago, and again, it's the lawn pathway that leads into the great central hall where you had your meeting. And Bastilan's leading the way. You're just following, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bastilan leads
around.
the way. He leads you into the great hall. Inside the great hall, you see two more of the... you remember them being called the Open Blade, the ones who guarded Creed, his own personal retinue, basically. The first one you notice is the hooded one from earlier, the Tanithian. You remember her name is Nerovar, and you see the Dragonborn one. He's a fire drake, and you remember his name is Priamus.
Priamus. What a good name.
And they are standing around the throne of where Creed, sat on. Creed is not there, however, but they're waiting for you when you arrive, and they give a quick little bow to you when you enter, and Bastilan stands next to the door that leads into the central hall, and he says to you all, Priamus and Nerovar will lead you from here.
See ya.
Okay.
Thanks, Bassline.
I'm
Yeah,
walking.
thank you. I give a little, tiny bow, like a head bow, like a nod
Mm-hmm.
to Bastelin.
He just he just taps his his halberd to the floor once, and he gives a
No.
little nod back.
No, please.
Not again. I'm not strong enough.
You follow Nerovar and Priamus, or they approach you, and they approach you, and they say, "We will lead you to Cassar Creed's personal quarters. Please follow us," says Nerovar.
Okay.
You catch a little glimpse of Nerovar finally underneath the robes. She is a young elven woman with pale white face and the black pupilless eyes that you've come to associate Tinifians with.
Right.
Oh, right.
You follow them
Okay.
Yes.
behind the throne. And you notice, just
Okay.
kind of set into the far wall is a small, almost nondescript door, basically. And Priamus takes position on one side of the door, and Nerovar walks up to the door. She opens it, and the door has a set of stairs that lead up, kind of up into the palace itself. They spiral on up, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And Priamus stands next to the door, and he nods, and Nerovar steps inside, and she says, "Follow me. Priamus is going to lock the door behind us."
Okay.
Well, fair enough.
No door can hold me.
Yeah.
What is the door made out of?
Wood.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm safe with that. Let's keep going.
Okay. You follow Nerovar on up. It's a couple flights of stairs, nothing too tiring, but you come to kind of like a platform, basically, and you come to another door, and standing outside of this door is one more of the open blade. One is still missing, you haven't seen them yet, but he is standing outside.
Are there only 4 open blade?
There are
Okay.
5.
Five.
One from each
Oh,
province.
Bastilan. Right.
Yep,
Right.
Bastilan, Priamus, Nerovar. You recognize this one. This was the man who was taking the notes during the meeting. Anytime Cassar Creed he wasn't the one tapping the banner, but after
Yeah.
one would introduce
that
themselves, he would
motherfucker.
write it into the book. He would write it
It's
into
on
the
site.
book. He is a northerner.
Yo.
He, unlike most northerners, however, Ansel and Kieran included, he wears heavy mail armor,
What the hell?
like chainmail armor.
Instead of furs. Or...
What the hell?
Looks down at Nick's
What
chest. What the hell?
No, he does not. He does not wear furs.
How's he
He's
gonna
not,
run around in the snow with that shit?
He's not wearing his helmet, though. His helmet is on a small stand next to him. His helmet is like a simple skull cap, but it has chainmail that would go over his face.
Oh, I know
much.
that game.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love those.
Oh god, he reminds me of one of those
Like
frogmen,
Monty Python.
the Danish special ops guys.
Frog.
Yeah.
Knock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knock. Anyway,
Look at
moving
that
on, moving
chainmail
on.
over their face. That's what it reminds me of. That's
terrifying.
terrifying.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He also has a lawn sword on his hip. And he looks at you all, and Nerovar says, Bayard, we have the group that is set to meet with Creed. And he doesn't say anything, he just nods. And Nerovar goes and stands next to the door, and Bayard turns and he opens the door, and she says, and Nerovar turns to you and says, Arterion and Creed are waiting for you on the inside.
Oh, God damn it! Who's Arterion again?
The last of the Open Blade.
Right. Okay.
You probably wouldn't know his name, but he was the standard bearer, the one who tapped the banner every time you.
Okay. So.
Oh.
He's that bitch.
It is on site.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
You guys got a problem with standard bearers, or
Just
Yeah, that
use
was
the banner,
annoying as
bitch.
fuck.
just that one? Listen,
I
man,
don't
just
hate
a
all
job.
standard bearers, but I hate that one in particular.
It's just
I
following
nod
orders.
at what was her name? Yeah, that's what the
Nerovar.
Nazis said too.
Nerovar is her name.
Winkums
Listen.
is just happy to be there.
I nod at
I'm
Nerovar.
more than happy to start the Nuremberg trials right now.
Good. Let's go.
Let's do it, dude.
You
I'll sprout ethereal wings, man.
The
Oh my God.
banality of evil. Let's go.
Let's
We're
go.
just following orders.
I'll turn into a werewolf right now and fight your ass.
you
Execute
Oh,
Order
Campfire.
66.
Sorry, Patrick.
You all step inside, and Bayard pulls the door closed behind you, and he locks it. You hear the lock turn.
Yeah, we've gone through like 3 locked doors now, haven't we?
He
Are
is
they
the
all
king.
wood?
Yes.
We're going through the super secret of ways.
That's okay, as long as they're wood.
Inside, you are
Yeah,
in
because I can run through them then.
the personal quarters of Cassar Creed. However,
Nice. What did they look like?
that's what I was getting to.
Sorry.
For a king, they're rather
He's
Spartan.
always naked.
Despite being for a
His
king,
hog
it's
out.
it's rather Spartan on the inside.
Okay.
He has a small study with a fireplace. The fireplace is raging right now. Not raging, I guess. It's on.
There's Cassar, get out! There's a fire!
Got that fire from Mulan.
The
All
goddamn
of China knows you're here.
The 3 locked doors is not up to fire code.
There is a small table fit for it would be fit for him and his open blade. You realize there's only enough space for about 6 people,
Makes sense.
and he
Ricardo.
tucked into the corner. He has his bed. It's a rather nice bed, you know. It's for a single occupant. It's not like a grand, king's bed.
California King waterbed.
He has like a couple of chests here and there spread out throughout the room.
Bro doesn't even have a
What
water bed.
occupies actually most of like his floor space is a lot of books. It turns out.
That sounds about right.
Are you gonna say maps? I was gonna say his carpet's made out of maps.
I thought you were gonna say maps too.
The
I
man
was like,
seeks
damn.
knowledge.
The only
You see it in 5D.
he also set up on the wall and kind of occupying the most like prominent space. One of the first things you notice, he does have a long black bladed sword on the far end of the wall.
Does it look like the stuff that comes out of the glass lens?
No, it almost looks like blackened steel, pretty much.
Oh.
And I don't know how to describe this in character. So out of character, it looks like a gladius, if you know what a Roman gladius looks like.
I have Google. Hold on. I forgot it.
I'll wait for him to look it up so he gets a reference picture.
Oh, I want that.
Ooh,
How much?
that's a good reaction.
How much?
Creed himself is seated at the head of this round table, and Arterion.
Head of the round table.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's
Like the
facing you
90
all.
degree angle.
He's
of
facing
the
you all
round
when
table.
you
I know what
walk
you're
in.
saying. I know what you're
There's
saying.
Okay, fine.
If you're looking directly across,
I
that's
guess
intimidating.
the best
Fine,
way to
fine,
say it is he's facing you all
He's
when you
just
walk in.
staring at us.
I'm looking at.
He's
directly.
actually seated. He has a small goblet of wine in front of him, and Arterion is standing at the far end of the room. You can see him. He's not really in the shadows. He's standing at the far end of the room. He's holding his banner up when you enter into the room.
I dare you to tap that. I fucking dare you.
Creed is not wearing the very formal attire he was at the meeting. In fact,
Not wearing anything.
he's wearing rather casual tunic and well, trousers, and he's relaxed. The tunic and the trousers are in his colors. That it is half blue and half white.
Always repping.
And you
Does he have the
enter.
cute little gold leaf ears?
No, he does not. He does not have them on. You enter into the room, and he turns and he looks up at you all. And the first thing he says to you is, "Would you care for some wine?"
Yes.
What?
I nod.
What time is it?
It's 9 a.m.
point. What time is it?
It's early
I
afternoon.
pull out my flask.
Early afternoon, huh?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just check something.
What
clock
kind of
somewhere.
wine?
Timmy says no thanks. I brought my own.
Yeah, magic came over to sleep. I'll
BYOB.
drink it.
What kind is it?
Oh, he looks up.
That's all
he
I
looks.
want to know.
Says, I'm drinking
Blue wine.
Calabinian. I'm drinking Calabinian red wine. I do have some Tinithian white, if you would prefer.
From a lady.
I want the red.
Do you have anything?
Y'all got any
sorry.
Captain Cokes?
Do you,
True.
I got apple smash in here.
do you have anything from the Underdark? I
Spiders.
guess probably not.
He-
Well,
Spiders?
Yeah.
He
Spider
shakes his
wine.
head. He shakes his head. He
Hell.
says, "Unfortunately, we do not have any open relations with the Underdark."
Makes sense. Makes sense.
that's fine. I just haven't had.
Pretty
I haven't
common.
had the Underdark wine made out of fermented spider eyes in so very long.
That's just Minecraft. You're
Yeah,
lying.
Minecraft.
What?
Yeah.
You
That's
can
why
make
make potions
fermented
in
spider eyes?
Yeah. That's how you make
No.
potions.
He
Don't
looks
forget
and he
lying.
blaze
says,
powder.
No,
He
that's how
looks-
you make. I'm dead ass.
Oh damn!
he looks and he says, "If you would like any kind of spirits or something a little bit stronger, I could
Make
have
a dead Nazi.
I could have Arterion go and fetch some for us down in the wine.
Do you guys
in
have
the
tea?
cellar."
Oh, tea would be lovely.
He
Oh my god.
You got a Starbucks in here?
he nods and he looks at Arterion and he says to him, "Arterion, see about fetching us some tea." And
I will take a large chai with a shot of caramel, please.
Does caramel
Or
exist in this
shot
world?
shot of vanilla.
Oh my
I'm going to
goodness.
no. I mean, it
Damn.
probably
I got a
does,
magic flask.
but you know, it's kind
Probably-
of hard to
it
invent
might not
something
have
like,
it.
yeah.
Okay, well. Do
So
they have
normal
sugar at least?
wine.
I assume they have
Yes,
sugar.
they have sugar, yes.
Okay, I'll just take tea and sugar. And milk.
Same.
They have milk, so he nods and he looks at Arterion. He relays the information, and Arterion nods and he plants the banner in the corner and he walks on out.
Wait,
Does it tap?
this is out of character. Are their cows the same as ours, or are they like weird Star Wars cows, like the blue one with the titty milk?
No, we're not doing. No, they're cows. Cows are cows.
I mean,
Listen, man, I don't know.
technically
okay.
all milk is titty milk, but
But no, I mean that weird blue one.
go off, I guess.
We are not going into this. Moving on.
I want to ask the Cassar a question.
About your cows.
No, not about the cows.
Who
It's
wanted
an actual
wine?
question.
Who wanted wine?
I did.
Yeah, Kieran did.
Oh,
Dude, I could just get you guys all wine out of my flask.
I don't want.
I don't want out of your
Oh,
flask.
you want to share?
You got
Ew.
cooties. I don't want Lycon 3
Please.
Creed stands up from his where he's seated, and he walks over, and he pulls out a couple decanters from one of his chests, and he sets it on the table. And he pulls out some goblets, enough for all of you, and he just kind of arrays it around. He says, "Have as much as you'd like," and he sits back down in his chair.
I'm gonna drink so much tea.
You're gonna have a gut ache.
Yeah, good. I have a question
What?
for him.
What do you mean gut ache?
Yes,
Anyways, this is-
Endervin, I believe it was, correct?
Yeah. Okay, Cassar, here's the thing, right? There's a vendor outside by the
Oh!
gate. His name is
This-
Kravos. Can you
this
kick
is
him out of the
very-
city?
This is very important.
His
He
name's
is
Kravos,
selling-
and he sells
is
counterfeit Vulcan statues.
And that was my first impression of Cass Arcadia, was getting swindled out of my hard-earned coin.
They're made of
So-
salt.
They're made of salt, and he's
And
not
coincidentally,
even a
I
real
was also very salty,
iron
so...
He turns and he looks at Nadali, and she just kind of shrugs like, I didn't hear any of this. And he
We
turns
didn't want
back.
to bother Nadali.
He turns back and he says, I'll bring it up with Garrow.
Thank you.
I bow.
Anyways, on to more important matters.
Yeah. That's all I got.
He takes a sip of the wine from his goblet and he sets it down and he says, Yes, yes. You requested a meeting with me. So, I am not one to beat around the bush. Let's get this done. You obviously have something very important to tell me.
What did we have to say to him again?
Well, you know,
We have to tell him about Vulcan.
we have to resurrect the gods.
Right.
Vulcan's
I
the
forgot.
only one
Don't
that
we
we
also have
said...
to-
And
we also have to-
Magnus, we gotta
Yeah,
tell
I was gonna
about
say. I thought. Don't we
yeah,
also
yeah.
have something about Magnus? I mean, that can wait.
that
till the
Magnus.
end.
I mean, we're
like,
we
wants
can
not
say that
as
we can say it in the same breath. Just say it really fast. Who wants to talk to him?
That being said, I like the idea of us being in the middle of this conversation about resurrecting the gods as the guy comes back with the tea.
Yeah, and he's like,
It's like the Donald Glover gift from Community.
everything's on fire.
Anyways,
What?
I think Sarah should talk since he's the bard.
Good point.
If you could put it in a fun little song, that would be even better.
Get your Vocaloid out.
okay,
Sorry, man.
Shut up.
Eat
How's
it.
it going to
Um,
your Vulcan, no valley of plenty?
yeah, when we're in the
Amen, no.
Glasslands,
Amen, no.
we'll cut right to the chase. But we can tell him about Vulcan, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said Vulcan's the
But
only one that we
We
get
all,
to tell
you
him.
also have to tell him that Vulcan said not to tell anybody.
Yeah. I bet he has a lot of secrets, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, while we're in the Glasslands, we kinda may have told a little fib at the court hearings, but
Oh God, are we under
Oh.
oath? Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
shit.
may have
I'm
been
so
for the
sorry.
greater
Oh,
good
no.
because
We're
we
under
Do
oath?
not record this. Do not record this on the
We,
court
we
minutes.
found
True,
some-
I wasn't here for this, so
we found something, and someone and it was you see it
was Vulcan.
We found
And I
him.
did
put
a
my hand
great
out and I
job.
do God, what do I have to do to
As
do that? Is it stupid?
It's probably
is it prestidigitation? Yeah, it is.
I
I
thought you
put
did
my
minor
hand out
illusion
and-
before.
But
Oh.
And,
I think prestidigitation you can make a little tiny thing. Yeah, you can do it in your
Okay.
hand.
so like a
So-
little tiny Vulcan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
out of
illusionary
fire.
image in my hand. Yeah, so you know,
As
like
you can tell,
it's like Star Wars-esque
What-
tiny Vulcan. It's kind of
what-
rotating.
Yeah, it's like a hologram.
Yeah, it's in my hand.
nothing that we say can leave this room, because under Vulcan's orders.
Yeah.
Also, we
No one but you is supposed to know about this.
This is what he looks like, and I put my hand out.
Excuse
Actually,
me,
I'll
darlings.
just cast. I'll just cast.
You
Oh, oh.
hear the first
Close my
person
hand.
to
Close my
speak
hand. Close my hand.
up- You. Excuse me. You met. I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. You said you met Vulcan. Says Lady Nadali, sitting in the room
Yes.
with you.
Nadali,
Maybe.
we're
Some
very
bonker.
sorry
Some
we couldn't
bonker.
tell you. Bonk.
Amnesia.
I was under the
amnesia.
assumption that we weren't gonna get her out of the room, but
No, Nadali can keep secrets. Vulcan, if he knew her, okay, he would be like, yeah, it's fine.
well,
Dolly's
I
my
meant more
mom,
like
so
She
for
would
like
not leave.
Cassar Creed's like protection services. Like he can't just be in a room with strangers.
No one? Yeah.
Yeah.
6 weirdos. One has his no shirt
Yeah.
on.
Dude, I
He
got
does
pants
not have
on.
his
That's all that
armor on.
matters.
He's just like, bruh. Yeah, no,
as far as
probably.
they know,
That-
I'm a crazy person because I'm not wearing pants or armor.
like a hobo.
Wait, you're not wearing pants?
Nope, I
I
took
thought
them
this
off.
was an Incredible Hulk situation,
Bruh!
honestly.
No, I'm wearing pants.
Why would you take off your
I-
pants when you're meeting the
I'm
king?
wearing no
he's wearing
pants, but I am
pants.
wearing a shirt.
He's not wearing
he
a
already
shirt.
feels comfortable around the Cassar and everyone. He just takes
sign
off his
that he
pants.
likes
I
It's
just feel
like-
like I've known you guys for my whole life. I just feel like I
Can I call
could
you
get
King
What was I
with
gonna
you
say?
guys.
Oh, why is
yeah.
this guy taking his pants off? Well, that means he
And I
likes
look at
you.
Nadali and I go, yeah, he looked like this, and I cast minor illusion, and it's a really big Vulcan. Except not as big as normal. He's 5 feet tall.
Yeah, to scale.
It can only go
He was
that far.
bigger. He was bigger than this.
Like when I made little Winkums.
Nadali, for the first time you think you've ever seen her, looks absolutely flabbergasted. She does not even know what to say. Yet Creed
Just say hello.
looks like his face hasn't changed. She actually doesn't look like disturbed or anything at all at what you've just told him.
He's actually in a poker club with
Winkums would
Vulcan.
like to say, he gave me wings and I sprout wings out of my back.
You can only do that when Vulcan says.
No, I just gotta use it wisely, he said.
Bro, what is that?
It's like,
No.
you know, in fucking Hannah Montana when like
I'm
her
convincing them, man.
her
I don't
dad's
think they need to be
out
convinced.
and they,
I
like,
don't
she
know,
wants
the
to go
Dolly's
shopping.
looking a little flabbergasted.
She wants to go shopping and like she's got the credit card and her friend is like, but your dad said to only use that for emergencies, and she's like, this is an emergency. That's goddamn wing from Vulcan wing.
It is.
Nadali looks
It's just
flabbergasted.
just for a second.
Nadali is the one who looks flabbergasted. Creed looks unmoved.
Oh.
Dude,
Also, I have powers now. I don't know if we
his
told you that.
poker face.
I don't think he cares.
No, not him. I'm talking to Nadali now.
Oh.
It's been a while since we last talked.
Creed, look what I can do!
I
don't wanna cast Fireball to
The
the
man with
cast
an army of
Fireball.
psychs under his control, like.
Like the
Nadali
like-
is just.
Little
she's
I wasn't
just
able to
looking-
cast Minor
Avatar.
Illusion last time I talked to Nadali, so.
Nadali is just looking more and more surprised the more this happens, and she doesn't know quite what to say. And Creed, he leans forward and he picks up his goblet and he takes another little sip of it and he just kind of sets it off to the side and he says, "So the lost son of the Glasslands has finally been found, the leader of the Vulcan's faithful."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But he said to make
We also
sure
lost him.
nobody knows of. Yeah, well, we could.
We had him and then we lost him.
Yeah, we could have built up to that one.
Vulcan giveth and Vulcan taketh away himself.
Vulcan. Kind of a wham bam, thank you, ma'am situation.
And
Not
he
great.
told you to talk to me specifically.
Bada bing.
Yes,
Yes.
and no one else. But
Yeah,
Nadali, we
bada
trust
bing.
you.
We have to
Bada
do
bing. Stephen King.
some crazy stuff.
Dolly
Yeah.
is the queen, or the fucking headmistress of the fucking spy corps, so like.
Yeah, so.
I'm assuming she's pretty good at keeping hush hush, so.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fine. It's
He looks at Nadali, who she finally like
fine.
shakes herself off. Like, Kassar, I did not know any of this coming into this. I assure you.
Please don't fire me.
His expression hasn't changed. He just nods a little bit and he turns back to you all.
Thinking emoji.
And he says, "And Vulcan is where now?"
That's the thing.
Okay, so here's what
Oh.
happened, right? So you know those green portals we were talking about?
Yes.
So we had to leave through one, or Vulcan would have died
Because,
from a
here's
bunch
the
of
thing.
lizard folk, right?
Yes, there was a lizard folk army, and we fought them.
So we went through the
best we
portal.
could.
And the
We were
portal
running from
split
the
us all up.
Islavans.
Yeah, we killed the
Islavans.
lizard
Oh, no,
folk. We're
oh,
running.
yeah,
we killed all the
Yeah,
lizard
Isvanians
folk.
came
Sorry,
through.
Kassar.
You're right. And
It
then,
was Isvanians.
so we went through the portal and we made it out to an Isvanian town. Then we went through another portal and we went to a different realm.
But
Kind of
that's
weird.
not what we're here to talk about.
We learned, yeah, it was weird. But we lost Vulcan in the process because I guess the
Yes.
portals are really unstable.
And his disciples, or
And
his,
his
And, yeah,
faithful.
and the Vulcan.
His ascendants.
his
Yep.
ascendant. There it is.
Ascendants.
His
So-
ascendants.
But we know they're out there.
Ascendants.
Yes.
Yes. Much like
They have Vulcan's
our
blood in them.
friend Winkums over here.
But way stronger. Like on par with Vulcan, kind of
Like,
crazy.
way cool. Well, not on par, I wouldn't say, but like.
But
they
you
are
know,
the ones,
they're
they
way
are the
stronger
ones
than
who have been-
Winkums.
They are the ones who have been tending to his.
Winkums is
recovery
baby
the
in
last
comparison. And he did some pretty crazy stuff, so you know
times. Yeah.
he can fly.
Yeah.
Another matter at hand
Yeah.
is the Isvanians, their leader Magnus, basically
Remember Terrorberg?
is convinced that or rather told us that Istvan is alive, or
No.
will be alive soon.
And is back.
And
Oh yeah, Vulcan also told us, he gave us a list of instructions.
Did he?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have
How
to
prevent-
resurrect all of the gods.
Yes, that's right.
We have to get, yeah. And the sword, I mean, Vulcan has the sword, so I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, he has the
But-
sword that we need. We have to resurrect all of the gods.
We also have to get Istvan's body, is what one of the things was.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a
To
We're
make
big
sure they
bringing
can't,
Cadia
they
back.
don't have it.
Also.
that is a biggie.
I'm assuming they already have him.
He told
you
us
know.
Cadia we need to bring back. We need to have the sword, which Vulcan has, but we have no idea where he is. And then we need Istvan's body.
Yeah.
Whoa. Grimnir
Yeah.
needs to come back too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
All the
Grimnir,
gods
yeah.
are able to
Creed
come
holds
back,
up his
or all the
hands.
demigods. Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay.
We talking too fast?
It's been
Let's
a
roll it
long-
back.
I've
It's
heard
been
everything.
a long couple months.
Right.
I understand.
What?
He says I understand it's been a long couple of months.
Yeah.
You're giving me a lot at once here.
Right.
Sorry.
He takes a sip of his wine. He says,
I'm not nearly sober enough for this.
I always did believe in the legend that Vulcan was still around. They are the demigods after all. Or, well, so it is claimed. I never did take much stock in religion myself, you see.
Right.
That's
Man,
funny.
this
neither
guy gotta
did
find
we.
Jesus.
And then we like met one.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I always did believe in the legend. Getting to where he supposedly was the issue, always, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many sane
We had a
people would make
vision.
that trip.
He had a
Good
vision.
thing that we're not sane.
I thumb over at Winkham's.
Inside in the membrane.
He had a vision.
Who?
Never.
You had a vision.
Who?
So, it is Vulcan's claim that the other demigods can be brought back, can be resurrected.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have
We
instructions
need to
on
bring
how
them all
to
back.
how to bring each one back.
It's true.
You do.
Who is taking pictures? No flash photography allowed.
I am.
Yeah, Timmy, what the hell, dude?
Well, I suppose you can explain to me how this will work, and we can discuss this. Now, I'm assuming you are going to explain to him exactly what you need to do. We don't need to go through.
I
Yeah.
don't remember. I do not remember.
I
it
have
written
notes.
down.
Yeah.
Frozen heart of a mountain for
Yep.
Grimnir. The sacrifice of a pure psyche for Caliban. And the blade of Typhon, also known as Typhus nowadays, for Tanith.
Right.
In here we need the Club of Morgar as well.
Yes.
Is that for
Club of
Grimnir?
Morgar. That is for
No,
Yeah, that's
Grimnir
for
is the
Grimnir.
heart of the mountain.
No,
Wait.
Grimnir needs
We need
both.
both.
Grimnir needs both. He needs
Oh,
Club
that
of
makes sense.
Morgar and the Heart of the Mountain. So you explain this to Creed. We don't need to go through all of that.
Right. Yes.
He nods. He says,
Just
Also,
give
Vulcan
him-
can
give
talk
him
to us if we need.
Give him the shopping list.
can he now?
He can.
Yeah, we just
Yeah, he said
haven't-
that last time we talked to him.
We haven't had contact with him since, so you know.
No, so hopefully nothing happened. We can talk to him.
So the son of the
Winkle, you
glass
should
lines
try to
is
talk to
missing
Vulcan.
again.
I can't talk to him. Remember, I asked.
But you can try. He said we got two-way communication now.
You
We
just
got
gotta
walkie-talkie
meditate,
the
man.
Vulcan.
Have you tried yoga?
It's true. You gotta do Avatar state. We'll get to that later.
I'll channel my inner Yang.
Also, we only have a few months to get this done.
Aang.
I think we
Yang.
told him
Yang,
that.
sorry,
but,
I thought it was Yang.
foolish.
Might be.
Nope.
You fool.
It's alright. I never really liked Avatar anyways.
Man, come on.
Hold on, D&D.
Don't say
pause.
nonsense.
Say,
Anyways.
say I
We can have
believe
this discussion. We can table this for a later
Mm.
time.
The Fire
Say-
Nation was never wrong.
He
Bruh.
leans back a little bit and he says, I won't lie. Like I said, I've never taken much stock in the demigods. I
Correct.
wouldn't say I don't believe, but Cadia might have been founded by them and founded upon their ideals, but it is the Cadian citizen that holds those ideals to this day. They're the ones that
Correct.
bleed
Yeah,
to keep it safe.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never taken much stock in them. I think it is a Cadian's own force of arms, their ability to defend themselves, more than any Caliban protecting them, for example.
Yes.
Right.
But,
Okay.
say I believe this story.
Yes.
I still have a war to fight with Istvan. I still need to
Right.
dedicate as much as I can to fighting this war, to leading these people.
Right.
What do you need from me? And I will see if I can provide.
What do we need from him?
Well,
That's a fucking good question.
Safe passage into all of these areas.
I think we already
True.
got that. We
Well,
have
yeah, I
the
know.
king's.
I've
I
already
mean, I
grasped
don't know
that.
if it's correct, but we probably need the right to mess with Cadia,
I think we have that.
bring her back.
Oh, yeah, good point. We need
Because,
the right
like,
to
you
touch
know,
all
that's
the
kind of
bodies.
Weird with that corpse.
That's kind of like a big thing.
We need a
Probably
necrophilia
should-
pass.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any
Oh.
instructions for Cadia themselves.
No,
we
but we
need-
need the okay to like do it. We can't just go do it.
We need the fastest transportation humanly possible. And possibly not humanly possible. 'Cause
Yeah.
we only got like 2 months.
This is true.
So that's a good start.
We need to find a psych too, but like that's kind of
That's gonna
That's
be.
iffy. That's
it's
kind
gonna
of
be
weird.
hard because it's we
And
gotta
murder's
kill
illegal.
a psych.
Yeah.
Well, I
Which
mean, preferably we
isn't-
need to find a psych that would be willing to,
Yeah.
sacrifice himself. So
Do you
we
know
don't
any
have to
zealot psychs?
Yeah, do you know anyone
looks
who's
over
willing
at
to?
Nadali and she shrugs, says, I could maybe dispatch some agents around. It's a rather morbid and frankly strange thing to
Yeah.
ask, but
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we don't like it either.
no.
Ooh, what we could
But
do.
What?
could we do?
Gun.
You know how
Oh.
fucking
God.
Tarvitz. Remember Tarvitz?
Who?
The Isvanian guy that we met last session.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Right,
he's like, hey,
yeah.
go find, or he was like, go into.
if you're gonna say
What?
anything, this is before your meeting with him, remember?
True.
Ah,
This
correct.
is 2 days after the meeting.
Never
with-
mind then.
And
with
before
the
a solo
council.
session, so no
Yes.
none of that either.
Yes, correct.
Understood.
mind
Have a
then.
nice day.
I totally
Oh.
forgot.
Okay, I have to go over and let my buddy's puppy out. I will be back in like 25 minutes at most.
That's fine. I don't think
You just pass out.
should be good.
Hell yeah, dude. Ansel does that the best. Ready?
We'll make sure you
Big
don't die.
swig of the flask. Good night.
Lights out.
He's sleeping.
He's just sitting there. Okay.
What else?
Honestly, what we could like, I don't know.
We're playing D&D, Jacob, just so
Hey.
you know.
Yep, I know.
What
Here
God,
for
what
the
am I-
ride.
Let's see. What do we need?
Yeah, I can't really think of any. Well, I mean, he already gave us that fucking get out. He gave us the hall pass basically
Yeah.
to all of Cadia.
I was gonna say, do we have the pass to
And
go
I know you're trying
basically
your
anywhere?
best to like, hey, ahaha, don't fucking kill each other. Rest of the fucking
That's
country,
true.
while
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Lions are trying to kill us. So
We don't need
do
any
your
other
best on
party
that
members.
front.
We should tell him about Magnus.
We also
We
probably.
did.
Yeah, we did. We
But
also
you saw-
probably can't.
You
Did we
explained
did we
everything.
tell him that Magnus wants him? Because Magnus
You did not.
wants him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
let's
that's
talk about
the like the big piece of information we should share.
What did he want him for again?
Magnus said he is one of the few people he was willing to spare, basically, in case.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
We probably should let him know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, Magnus is just an absolute whack job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's tell about Magnus.
Yeah. We should probably share how like we met him too, and how we thought. What was he? What was his like alibi again?
He was
helping
regular Joe
us.
Schmo. What do you mean?
Yeah, he was just helping
Yeah,
us.
oh,
He was
that's
known
right.
in the South. He was known as a adventurer
like
who
a-
came through every now and then and
right.
did some work.
He was the one who like came to us with his job, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, you got the
Hey,
job
let me
from
No,
the mayor.
we got a job, and he was like, "Hey, you want help?" And we were like, "Yeah." And then Magnus killed a bunch of people really easily
Yeah.
because he's very strong.
Sorry, my dad is calling me. I will be right back.
And we were like, "Damn, Magnus is the best NPC." And then he betrayed us.
Yeah, we're like, wow, dude, this guy is kicking ass for us, and turns out he's just fucking, you know.
Still better than Richter, but you know.
Richter fell in
Alright,
a
so what are
sewer,
we
and that's
telling
when
him?
we knew he was dying.
That's when I knew Richter was dying.
What are we telling?
Tell him everything. Let's time skip it. We don't got that much time.
Yeah, sure.
We'll just give him the gist of it that, like,
I'll-
Magnus sees him as one of the few, like, that he would keep alive, and he really wants him badly for some reason.
Nadali will chime in every now and then to validate some parts of your story because you rescued her.
Right.
So
Yeah, we met Nadali. She was a bartender.
We should also let him know that Magnus has a
I'm sure he
lot
knows
of
this.
enemies. Or not,
Yeah.
not a lot of enemies,
Listen.
a lot of soldiers
All right,
with
I'm
him.
back. Sorry, we were just.
This
figuring
dude has a
out,
lot
like,
of moving pieces. Who
JoJo
knows
stuff.
what he knows? He
We're
might
Who knows
just
what he
doing
doesn't
a
know?
general
knows
what we're gonna
what he-
tell him, and then just do like a we told him, you know.
Everything up until Careberg, everything up until Careberg burned down. How about that?
Well, why?
That's everything.
Yeah.
that is everything. That,
Alright.
yeah, pretty sure so far, yeah. So you explain this to him
That's all the
again.
magnet parts.
Nadali chimes
Yeah.
in at certain parts to validate your story because she was there and you rescued her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She was a
Make it
bond.
sound like we're not whack jobs making this up.
And with Nadali there, he's nodding along and he believes you. He seems to believe you.
Yeah, I'll entertain
Right.
this.
He says, "So, the leader of the Estvanian forces,
Yeah.
for some strange reason, sees me as sort of an equal, almost, or worthy to
Probably.
him."
I mean, I feel like it's not that. Sorry. I feel
Yeah.
like it's. I feel like it's not that strange. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
you are both leaders of a large population, and the idea that he might have some.
he's also
the-
crazy.
He is crazy.
He's
So
willing
the,
to kill, like,
the
just
idea
on
that
the
he
spot.
may perceive some kind of mutual respect between you two is not completely out of logical understanding.
You might want your operations as well. You know,
Creed-
classic dictator mood.
He nods. He nods along.
Just dictator things.
Says, "And did Magnus say how he would know you came into contact? Because again, not to speak down of you, but it's not like he could guarantee that you would make contact with me, is it?"
Absolutely not.
He
Granted, he
Well-
probably knows because it's been a
Didn't
long
he say
time.
if we don't talk to him, like, he
He'd
would
kill
know?
us. He said he'd kill us.
told us that he basically has eyes everywhere.
He
in
said that he would
India,
kill us.
and that
Yeah.
he would be keeping tabs on our activity once. Sorry, I'm slurring my words. Once we arrived in the city.
Nadali speaks up at this, and she says, "While I have not found any of his so-called agents in Casa Arcadia, I have heard reports from some of my own that there are very strange dealings with some very prominent members indeed in their own provinces that would indicate maybe some kind of connection to the Istvanians. And we had our own run-in with one Ludwig, who was a treasurer in Caliban,
Right.
who was in Magnus's pocket, it seems."
That's right.
Yeah. Brings back bad memories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys
Still
killed that
too
guy,
soon.
didn't you?
Oops.
I mean,
Listen, man.
you got Richter killed, so like,
Yeah.
We're
I
even.
threw like a
I'm not
football
saying
sign,
anything. I'm
man.
just
That was
saying you
kinda
killed
cool.
him.
yeah.
I fell. Zach, I fell.
Huh?
I fell when you did that.
It was a good throw, dude. You just couldn't
It
stick
wasn't-
the landing.
It was a good throw. It was okay. It worked.
Creed nods and he says, "Yes, I've read some of the reports.
Wait, we're in the reports?
Not you, first.
Oh.
But
Damn.
reports from Nadali's agents of run-ins with reports from Nadali's agents of run-ins
Almost had a heart
with
attack.
cultists and other things that we would rather keep in the dark from the rest of Cadia.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
probably
redact
for the
that, man.
best.
You can have my name in the reports.
I did not consent to that.
Redacted.
Nadali,
It'll look like an SAP
Nadali
file
looks-
when I'm done with it.
Nadali looks at you and she nods and says, "Yes, darlings, my agents have been rather busy indeed while you've been in the Glasslands. More than
Right.
a few run-ins with dark cults and sacrifices."
Ew.
In
Well,
Canadian
that's
lands?
Belle saying ew. Ursula's eyes light up.
She nods. She says, the history books all say the same thing. The few times that Istvan and Cadia have gone to war, it has always had Istvanian cultists, those who believe in the Istvanian faith, rising up in the provinces, performing dark rituals, sacrifices, assassinations, and the like.
Jeez.
The Istvanian
nice.
faith is a dark thing indeed. It clutches at the hearts of human men and women, and gets
Right.
them to do dark, sacrificial things.
As one does.
Very interesting.
Creed,
From a scholarly standpoint, of course.
Creed nods and he says, "There are those with darkness in their hearts towards Cadia, the land itself, that always seek more power, and always seek a way to forcibly move their way up into greater positions of power. I'm not surprised that Nadali's agents have run into these folks, but they stick to the shadows for the most part. They're very good, I hate to admit, at hiding their activities. What might seem like a simple murder that would go overlooked in a grand city such as Cas Arcadia might have been a dark ritual."
Interesting.
I see.
Patrick, this is completely out of character, but about how much stuff do you have planned for today? Is it this and then the marketplace?
Oh god, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bruh.
We're good.
Okay, cool.
And
My dad
then-
was just asking for a time estimate, and I told him like around 4 or 5.
That is perfect. That should be perfect. So,
Okay, cool.
the only thing is, I think today is the day you probably should decide where you're going next, so I can
Yeah.
I can
Yes.
get things working for that.
Fair
So,
enough.
but other than
Makes
that,
sense.
Well,
I've got
I
this.
honestly I do trust you guys to make that decision, so
Yeah,
if I have to leave a little bit early.
Don't.
that's fine. That's fine. You should. It should be good. It's just this meeting and the stuff with Siegfried. So,
Which I'm so excited for. Anyways,
moving
is
on.
that everything?
Well,
He did ask if there was anything you wanted to see if he could provide, which was never answered.
Ooh! Gear.
Well, I mean, we have free like passage to go to those places,
Yeah.
right?
Gear.
Gear would be nice. Of course, we do have to ask you to not, on Vulcan's order, to not share this information with anybody.
Sure, this
yeah.
has to
Yep.
stay within the people in this
Yes.
room.
Yes.
Because, we figure that the demigod knows best, so.
He nods and he says, "Well, Neovar and Bayard have already heard. They can hear through the door, but my open blade, I trust
Their
completely.
fucking ears are like pressed to the goddamn wood.
Thinking.
They do have to protect him.
Yes,
True.
well,
The open blade are the finest warriors from each province. I trust them completely.
alright.
Okay.
But
But
yeah,
other than
'cause
that-
So gear. Gear and
yeah,
transportation, big, important.
Vulcan's main reasoning for that was that he just didn't want to cause a ruckus, if you will. So
Oh
Yeah.
no, I understand completely. I can't even imagine what the Glasslands would look like if word got out
Yeah.
that
I don't know, man. I
Vulcan
can't imagine
was
Kravos if he found out he was selling counterfeit.
someone's like, "Hey, Vulcan's real," and he's
Hmm.
like, "Dead ass."
Also, if there's like any contacts you got wherever we go, like that'd be kinda
Yeah.
cool.
That would be helpful.
Have a
yes.
little, insight.
I'm really gunning
And
for this
as
gear and
as
transportation.
yes, as Enderman said, gear and transportation.
Those are
I
probably
think.
the two most important. Yeah.
We're a little light on cash.
Yeah.
Creed nods and he says, I can provide
All the
carriages
heroing.
out of Casa Arcadia, and
Let's go.
with the way the provinces are set up, I can get you to any of the major holds, the Cassar Caliban, Cassar Nocturne. You could get there within a week's time if you travel back to Casa Arcadia, and travel out from there.
Right.
I can provide
Right.
carriages. You are being provided a banner, and my own, and he points to his banner, my own symbol will be emblazoned upon the banner as well, somewhere.
Yeah, cast our watermark.
We still haven't figured that out, huh?
We got the
I mean,
basic
we got the
idea of the
banner.
banner down.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Okay. Anyways.
And he says, when the banner is when the banner is created, we will emblazon my own emblem upon it. That
Cool.
can help, but again, the provinces look out for their own interests.
Mm-hmm.
Rude.
It's only gonna get us
Access,
so far.
which brings me to the one thing I cannot help with.
Yeah, what's up?
Access to the bodies of the demigods.
Right. That's the
always
most
gotta be
important
something.
part. That is quite possible.
As I'm sure you can imagine, they
Yeah.
are holy
Sacred.
and sacred
Yeah.
to the people of the provinces.
Yeah.
It's not like Cassar Caliban, where the paladin's body is open to all.
Mhm.
I can tell you that Grimnir's body is interred inside the Wall of Rus. You would have to go through the
Oh.
tribes to
Like
access
Attack on
that
Titan.
body.
Okay, that's gonna
That
be
won't be
hard.
fun.
As for Tanith's body, well, it is in the underneath the town hall of Cassar Tanith. It is also under guard of the Tanithian Rangers, and it is overlooked by the religious leader of Cassar Tanith,
Right.
who answers only to the religious and the faithful of Tanith, not to the government itself.
Oh well, actually, that's well. Never mind. Sorry. Anyways.
So you will have to go through most likely you will have to go through the Council of Tanith in order to try to get yourselves permission to the body. Again, the banner may help with some, but not all respect my word.
Yes.
Would we have it on? Would we be able to use your name and kind of swaying the courts there?
Be the standard. Who wants to be the standard bearer?
Be like, hey, Creed says we can do this.
Daddy said.
he thumbs over to his own banner and he says, "That is what my emblem is meant to provide for you."
Ah, right.
It
Okay,
speaks
just making
with my
sure.
word. I will, of course, inform the Casterkin of your coming, wherever you choose to go, and they can also maybe sway some things their way. But again, not all of the provinces appreciate the Casterkin stepping into their own politics.
Yeah.
But they go with my word, and if I send them word that you're coming, they will speak to the right parties for you before you arrive.
Okay.
Well, I suppose that's all we
Sounds
can
good
really
to
ask
me.
for.
Yeah.
Now then, one final thing I must ask of you before you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh no.
The banner.
Yes. We
And
got it.
Yeah, we got it.
He stands up and he goes over to one of his books. It's like a notebook, and he pulls it off, and he pulls out a pen, and he has the page out in front of him, and he says, "Describe it to me."
Can we just tell
Here,
him?
get the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Ursula's I think it would just be like a circle to
Yeah, dude.
represent
This
like
is the Who Are
circle
You
of
in
life.
Skyrim, except we're putting a banner in.
Yeah.
I'm from Rorikstead.
So it was a halberd with all of your class
Halberd
emblems,
with
right?
the class symbols
Okay.
around it, and each
Oh,
are
we're doing
tweaked.
class symbols?
Yeah.
Each are tweaked to our own, like.
Yeah.
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 Like, for example, the bard one's a lute, but I put a little trumpet there
Little baby
instead.
trumpet. Yeah, I think Ursula's would
Eric
have.
said I'm gonna hit Photoshop today.
And
The-
since Timmy doesn't have, like, a traditional class, I just did a paw, I think.
Or
Aw,
if
cute.
you wanted, you could have his tribe emblem, because
Ooh.
each of
Oh,
the
good
tribes do
point.
have their own symbol. Grey
True.
hunters.
Would you like that
Sons-
for your symbol then, too, Johnny? Your tribe symbol? What do you want? Because I
What's
think
the
I
symbol
have...
for the?
Yours is just a big axe.
The fighter, big.
Yeah,
for
I
the
want
action.
my emblem then.
Your
Your-
tribe symbol?
Yeah,
Alright.
Okay.
mine looks dirty.
What's the one for Rogue? I forgot. It's like a dagger or something. Isn't it?
Rogue is
Yeah.
a dagger with a mask above it.
The
Like
one
a
thing
diamond.
I don't
stay.
think was completely established was the colors for the banner.
I thought we were doing black
um,
and gold.
Black and gold.
Black and gold is pretty classy.
Is it
That
is it a
pretty
black
classy.
banner
Black
with
and gold
gold
and silver.
symbols? Or gold banner with black symbols?
I think black.
I forgot
with
what
gold
we
is
said
for-
last time.
Gold
So that-
symbols,
Gold
black,
symbols on black, and
gold,
then silver
gold
embossed, right?
symbols, gold trimming
Yeah.
around the banner, and gold sprinkled in the halberd, I think, is what we described.
Yeah.
There was a silver embossment somewhere in there, right?
Why? I would be.
Because it looks
Why
cool.
would you mix up? No, it doesn't look cool to mix.
Is it just
metallics.
one halberd?
What?
That's
Yeah,
a,
it's just
that's
one
a
halberd.
fashion faux pas.
We're not
my boy.
mixing
suppose
the
I should ask,
palettes.
is
It's
the
silver,
handle-
gold, and black.
Is the handle
No,
of
yeah,
the
I know, but,
halberd
like,
different color than
It
the
should
blade
either
itself?
be. It should either be gold or silver. Is what I'm saying.
No, we're not mixing the symbols. I mean like embossment.
No, I know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You shouldn't have both silver and gold on.
I like the idea
single
of doing
thing.
a
Why?
multicolored halberd, like wooden
That's
handle,
just-
so it'd be a brown handle,
That's
and
just
then
one
like
of the rules.
a silver blade and
rules.
stuff like that.
Bet.
And like
Okay.
gold tinges on it, like 'cause I have some spots for
Yeah.
like, studs
Okay.
on it,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, it's a silver halberd.
I'll re-put the picture.
Okay,
in.
how are we gonna break up the color of the halberd with the black if we don't have a color for the actual halberd?
Make it gray.
It's silver.
Whatever, do
metal. What are you
do
talking
want.
about?
Do what you want. Whatever.
Okay, so
What are you
brown,
talking about,
so brown
man?
handle, silver blade,
I mean,
Sounds
yeah,
like
I'm-
paladin
black field.
paladin
that's
is the
banner.
helmet.
with the
Yeah.
wings,
Yeah.
Yes.
like the I don't even know what you want to call that. The hussar
What's the
wings
helmet
or
with the
whatever.
wings?
The winged hussars.
The
yes.
sickle with the like leaves is the druid.
Wing-
But
I
we
want
changed
the,
it to, like a
um,
staff
yes.
instead.
Well, she's gonna. Ursula would prefer it to be like a circle, because that's kind of the
druidic
basis
circle.
of her whole.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I want
yeah,
the-
Oh
that's
yeah,
kind of-
and your religion, yes.
yeah, that's just like the basis of her whole.
I want the,
belief system,
okay.
the
basically.
rogue
The
sickle.
sword, the shield with the axe and sword is for Averland. Just kind of being like a soldier.
Where's the rogue one?
Stuff.
Where is it? Oh,
The
I
rogue
like
is the
that
bottom one. The
Do
dominant
that,
mask
but
the
with
dagger.
fire around it.
Okay. All right.
It's important.
I got this. You explain
That
it
I'm
to Creed.
multi-classing.
And
Yeah.
he sketches it out as you explain it to him. And he nods and
Mission cast our Creed for a banner.
he nods and he says, well, I will send this over to Nathaniel and I'll have him help forge your banner.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, you remember, was the halfling psych on the council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says it should be ready by the end of this week.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Sick.
He closes up the pen, and you hear a knock at the door, and Bayard enters with the tea.
Yeah. Fill that
Aye.
tea, sis.
I sip it.
This is delicious.
It's pretty
Thank
good.
you.
It's tea with sugar.
Is it black tea?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Let's go.
And Creed leans back and he looks around and he says, if you would wish to contact me again at any point, I am going to be dispatching some of my troops to each of the provinces. I have finally decided. I feel that a strong presence is needed from my own house to remind those of where we truly stand in this war.
Right.
Yes, that would
Makes
be
sense.
wise.
As you do.
You have my emblem emblazoned upon your banner. They will recognize it, of course. So,
Yeah.
again, should you have need of contact me, go to them, and they will get word to me as soon as possible. Or even the Kassar Kin,
Right.
if need be. You are all
Alright.
known to them now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Is there anything else you need to ask of me or need of me before we adjourn?
I mean,
We just asked for the gear. That was it, I think.
would you have a preference, I guess, on which region we go to first?
Ooh, that's a
Good
good question.
point.
Where do you think we should prioritize?
Because, like, this is kind of, as you can imagine, this is all kind of whack as fuck.
Yeah.
And
He shakes his head and he says, considering your actions in Caliban and the Glass Lens, I will leave you to decide where you go from here. I am going to focus on reinforcing the fight to the south, because that is where their main forces are at. Nadali, as she, I assume, is excited to take on, is going to be working in overtime to be trying to counter the Estvanians and their portal openings, as we have discussed, as you have brought to light. So her and her agents will be working greatly indeed here. I will leave the decision up to you. I do not need to know
Why
now.
can't you just tell us what to do?
I'm sure you must take time to decide.
yeah.
It is, you have a great deal ahead of you here. I can give you all the support. This is all the support I can possibly give you.
Yes.
Creed's
And we
thoughts
thank
and
you for
prayers.
that.
You thinking?
But know that you go with my full blessings, for whatever that might
Thanks.
count. And if you can somehow bring these demigods back, though I do not fully believe in them, nor do I fully appreciate them, their help would definitely be needed right now.
Yeah.
I would say
do.
Cadia protects, but you know.
You know.
Yeah. Soon though.
Soon, yeah.
My
Yes.
knights and my people do stand with you, though, in this endeavor.
Cool.
Everyone
Cool.
except for that one fucking merchant.
I mean, he stands with us in his own way.
I'm still mad about that.
Yeah. Can anybody? Yeah. He said he was sending. Yeah.
He would talk to
Yeah.
Garrow about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
I want to hear back on that.
Your report has been processed.
He nods and he says, if there is nothing else, I have some war plans I must go over.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
I think that's it for us.
Declare
Gotta get
war
back
on
to
crime.
playing Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Except for me. Don't declare I'm a rogue.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright.
Cool. Peace.
Lead the way out.
Nerovar will show you out. We skip ahead.
I skip it.
You are all leaving Mr. Tarvitz's residence.
Right.
Yep. Yes.
When Lady Nadali approaches
Am I still
you.
bruised?
You are not.
Wait.
Okay. Good. Cool.
When Lady Nadali approaches you, and she
Good
says,
to hear.
I'm very sorry, darlings, but, well, it seems your good friend Leopold, or it seems your good friend Siegfried, ran into his brother in the market.
Uh-oh.
And as she says this, the door to her house opens up behind her, and out steps a still bruised up and kind of holding his side Averland, who looks at you all, and he groans a little bit. He says, "Oh no, the sergeant ran into his brother."
Yeah.
Everlyn, why are you bruised up?
Please don't ask, ma'am. It's a long story.
I really am curious, and I very much want to know. Because Ricardo wouldn't let me listen to his one-on-one.
I mean, we should probably go help Siegfried.
We should help Siegfried.
Averland, he kind of grunts a
going
little
to-
bit
or
as
Averland?
he slides on his cuirass, and he sheathes his lawn sword and his shield across his back, and he kind of like loosens his shoulders up a little bit, and he goes, when he leans over and he kind of grabs his ribs and goes, yes, I'm good, let's go.
He's fine.
So I'm desperately curious.
He's fine.
He looks at you and he shakes his head and he says, ask Madame Endovan if you would like to know.
Madam Enderman, why is Everland all bruised up? What have you done with our boy?
He did that.
Well, he told me to ask you.
He slipped.
Oh. Where did
Fell
he
on the
slip?
stairs.
A lot of places. He slipped a lot.
Well, you'll have to regale me with details later.
Perhaps.
Nadali turns to you all and she says, I must get Sigismund and Euphrates ready. We will join you
Euphrates.
later. He says, and don't worry, you cannot miss it. Lucius, from what little I know, is a very, very showy type.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Right.
This
No.
was in the marketplace? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You guys
let's
want to
go.
run? Can Averlyn
Yeah.
run?
Yeah, I
Better.
think we
He
should
can
probably
run at
puzzle.
a decent
Averlyn's
pained
falling
pace.
behind, not because he's fat, but because he's hurt.
Alright, so you're taking off.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
jogging. I'm
Alright.
jogging.
You book it through the streets. People are kind
Assassin's
of
Creed style, you know.
they're clearing out of the way. Like what
I'm
the hell?
knocking
Why,
people
what's
over.
with these heavily armored people kind of barging through
Yeah.
us?
Yeah. You ever play Assassin's Creed 2 multiplayer? Kind of like that.
You know your way around Cas Arcadia pretty damn well by this point, thanks to your various escapades. Some of you.
Eh.
So it only
I know the
takes you.
marketplace pretty good.
It only
I
takes
don't.
you a couple minutes, but the transitional roads that you've grown used to that like mark the end of one of the one district that lead into another. When you get past the night district with a K, you get to
Yes.
and you
I
go
remember
into
that
the
part.
you go into the market district. You notice at the transitional road there's a giant circle of people, like all gathered around with a space in the middle. So they're gathered around. They're watching something.
Oh no. Oh no.
Clear the way, people!
Yeah.
I'm shooting my horn in the air like a gumshoe.
As you're making your way through, you kind of every now and then you hear somebody from the crowd say, "Oh, that's Gavin Saris." As you're making your way. through
Oh,
the crowd.
nice. Nice.
What can I say?
That's not good.
That's Master.
You ran a
Saris.
fire ring.
I mean, they don't know that part. They just... They know
What?
the good part. They know the good part.
Gotta give the people
What's
what they
the
want.
good part?
The good part. Shut up.
Talking about,
Confidence
man.
is nice.
Who's at the front leading the way? I should ask. Who wants to be the one leading the way?
I
Not
was
me,
thinking-
because I didn't do anything on the free
I think we
time.
should use
so-
Wincombs as a battering ram for the people.
Well, I don't know where I'm going, so...
Just knocking people over with big fat
Well,
arms.
no, you don't have to know where you're going, because, like, Geffen can just be, like, carrying you and
Just keep-
fucking...
You're
keep
elbowing.
walking.
You're
I'm right
elbowing your
beside
way
him.
through Winkham's.
I feel
Sorry,
like
sorry,
you're-
excuse me, sorry.
I feel like Sarah
It's
should
just
be
like
in front,
Anatolia all
heralding
over
our
again. You
approach.
guys excuse me.
You get to the innermost part of the circle. You get to the innermost part of the circle, and you nearly trip, and you notice you knocked over a goblin. And the goblin looks up at you, and he kind of hisses, and he starts to scurry away a little bit.
Sorry, sir.
I growl back.
Yeah, someone hits back, I was gonna say.
Through his armor.
Yeah, I give him a
tinny
stern
hiss.
growl.
I never want to see a 7-foot tall person hiss through their armor.
The goblin kind of hisses at you and he kind of scurries away. You notice he's wearing a cloak, which you don't think you've ever seen a goblin wear a cloak
Oh,
before.
god damn it.
Big gobbies.
Ursula rolls her eyes.
And you all get to the innermost part of the circle, and you see a man standing across from the good sergeant, and he looks like this.
Oh jeez.
Oh, no.
Lucius. Yeah.
And he's standing
Yeah.
very proud in
Ooh.
knightly plate armor.
Oh, this
you
dude's
look
getting
like
punched in the face.
He
like
looks
the
like such a
stash.
bastard.
God damn.
And
I
his
will send
fucking
this-
haircut.
I
I'm
will
going
send
to
this
stab
Johnny,
him.
That's a
I'll
fit
help
and a
you.
half. That is a fit.
And I will
Call
send
him a
this
toddler.
to Johnny as
He's
well.
throwing-
Where is
throwing
it?
fits.
Eric, shut up.
They call me the poop barber.
Hold on,
Like,
Johnny,
cut
it's
their
coming.
shit.
He, the guy standing across from Siegfried in the middle of this gathering of people. This is what he looks like. He's wearing knightly armor. He has the long cloak on.
Wearing the most punchable face I've ever seen in my
Oh my
life.
Yeah,
God.
I know. I'm gonna sucker punch
Looks
him.
like a Disney villain. I want to break his neck.
Oh, he does look like a Disney villain. That's exactly what he looks like.
And
He's gonna break into
he-
song, bro.
I want to hurt him.
I'm glad we've all
Come
to
back
the
here, you goddamn son of a bitch. I know I
I'm
want
glad
to
we
punch
all
you in the
came to
nose.
this consensus that we're gonna beat the crap out of this guy.
Yeah.
he's got a long rapier on his hip.
Hey,
Yeah, 'cause
That's
he's
my
got a tiny
style.
wiener.
Oh, yeah, you know what they say. It's
And-
he's trying to
complicated
take my
sometimes.
style. It's mine.
And you push through, and you you hear Siegfried speak up, and he says, "Lucius, I don't have time for this, you pissant. Please just let me go." And
Rude, but good.
The mustached man speaks, and he
Mustachio.
says, "Oh, Leopold, my dear brother, it is so good to see you
I'm going to
again."
kill him.
Yeah.
Doc Holiday ass.
Why, Johnny Ringo.
He says, "I had heard you were back in town, and I've spent the last few days looking for you."
That's not
This
good.
dude's a punk.
That's not
This
good
dude's
at
a
all.
scoundrel.
You are a gentleman of no class. How far away are we from them?
I'll say you're 30 feet behind Siegfried, and he's across from Siegfried, so you're about 70 feet from him, 60, 70
Does
feet away.
anyone have? This seems like something that Geff and Saris might have, but anything like a
Anything that shoots far?
No, not shoot. I was gonna say like magnify voice or something. Is that
You're like start a
thaumaturgy?
war here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to shoot this man.
I
I'm
don't,
back.
I don't think I have that.
What if?
You can make a shout with minor illusion if you
Right.
got
Can we
it.
look in the
rundown.
chat
I'm
and look
looking
at
it up.
the
I'm
last
looking it up
picture
right
Patrick
now.
sent and tell me he does not look like the most punchable person ever?
So, you talk to Creed. Creed basically was like, Creed doesn't
You
really,
literally
he's
picked
not,
the perfect time to come
Creed's-
back in.
Creed's not religious, so he believes the
Okay.
story, but he is like, I
I
still
could
have to
break that guy
focus
in
on.
half.
He believes the story, but he still has to focus on fighting the war, basically with Istvan. So he's like, what the support he can give you is like, you can talk to the Kasserkin or his own troops that he's deploying. He's deploying he's deploying troops from his house to each province. So if you need to ever contact him, you can go through his soldiers or the Kasserkin. He's also providing carriages that will take you from Cas Arcadia to each of the provinces, and you can arrive in about a week's time with the carriage. So a week there and a week back. So 2-week round trip basically, if need be. And finally, you made your banner. He's put his emblem on the banner, which can give you some sway in the provinces, but not everybody respects his emblem. He said the only thing he can't give you is access to the bodies of the demigods, because that falls under the jurisdiction of the provinces themselves.
Lots of red tape going on right now.
Lots of red tape. He's like, if you want to get to Grimnir's body, which is in the Wall of Rus, you would have to go through the tribes. And if you want to get to...
Yeah!
If you want to get to...
That's me. That's me.
High five.
And if you want to get to Tanith's body, it's underneath the town hall, which means you would have to go through Tanith's council. Or no, you wouldn't have to go through. The best bet to get to Tanith's body would be to go through Tanith's council, but her body is kept by the religious part of Tanith. As you'll come to find out, Tanith might be a little bit more religious than the other places. So you would have to go. You would have to meet up with the.
I thought were pretty religious.
Oh, you have no idea.
Except for Kravos.
Now we have jumped forward to after the meeting with Tarvitz. You stepped outside, or you were returning to Dolly's place, and Dolly approached you. She said, "Yeah, Siegfried ran into his brother Lucius, and a bruised and battered Averlin also stepped outside and has rejoined you. He was not at the meeting with Tarvitz. I forgot to mention that. And you are now." You've worked your way to the market district, and you've done the thing where you've elbowed your way through a crowd of people that's gathered around Lucius and I have to say Lucius and Leopold because I have to use their
kind of like
first
Assassin's
names.
Creed 2. You ever play Assassin's Creed 2?
And you've come to the middle, and Siegfried has said, or Siegfried called Lucius a pissant, and Lucius said, "It is so very good to see you again, my dear brother."
That's where we're at.
So
and now we're
my
going.
plan.
I'm going to shoot.
I want to kill him.
No, okay, shut up. Everybody shut up.
What?
If any of my spellcasting bros, which is fucking everybody, if you have thaumaturgy, you can. That's a cantrip.
That's for you though. I don't think I don't think any of us have.
I'm really feeling like using Divine Smite.
Okay.
I believe thaumaturgy is a specific Druid Circle thing or a Warlock thing.
What do I say?
Wingardium Leviosa.
Ursula elbows Geffen Saris, and she's like, "I am about to make my voice very loud. What do I say?"
I could just shoot him.
What are you trying to like?
Sure, I could use smite.
I'm trying to get
smite from here.
attention so that he knows
No, but like I could run up to him and smite him.
I was just gonna shoot him with a fireball.
Attention to what?
Oh, hit him with a fireball.
Like that we're here and that we are, we can give him an excuse.
I feel like we'd get in trouble though.
I mean, we're 30 feet away. I don't know if you need to cast.
Wait, 30 feet?
You're 30 feet behind Siegfried. You're 60 feet in front of Lucius.
And we're 30 feet away?
It's a circle.
I'll cast Minor Illusion.
No, we're 30 feet behind Siegfried, 60 feet total from Lucius.
Yeah.
Ursula
and it's a circle
casts,
around.
I point my finger straight in the air.
Ursula casts Thaumaturgy on herself.
And I shoot Firebolt in the air.
Shouts,
right
"Hi, Siegfried!"
Firebolt in the air.
A voice that is 3 times as loud as her usual voice, because she just panicked.
Lucius looks at you, and he squints his eyes. And Siegfried turns around, and he looks at all of you.
Also, the Firebolt went off, so...
Why are you casting Firebolt?
Look at the candle in the air, so he can see us, like a flare.
You cast the Firebolt into the air, and you...
Is that a spell slot, you fucking idiot?
No, it's a cantrip, you ding-dong!
Firebolt's a cantrip, Fireball is a spell, which is... I hate that they're so closely named together.
Very different things.
It's very different for fucking Ricardo because he doesn't have to roll on the goddamn chaos table.
I also don't have a fireball at all. That's not a possibility.
I have fireball.
You shoot your firebolt in the air as Ursula makes her voice really loud, and when you shoot the firebolt, you hear some gas and some screams from amongst the crowd because
Yeah, good job, fucking.
They're not used
panic,
to people just.
Oh, you mean the 3 times as loud as yelling is not?
That is not as big of a deal as fucking explosions.
No, you're not cutting it this way.
Bro, should I just turn into a werewolf to make this a better experience?
Oh my god.
No. Well,
I'm trying my best to calm down the crowd.
Wait, can you speak while you're a werewolf? Like?
Yes, like straight up English.
Does that do anything to you?
Does it do? What do you? I'm talking.
Are there any downsides to turn into a werewolf right now?
I mean, I could have a horrible vision and pass out afterward.
Not to mention, there are guards around us.
We speak with the voice of the cat.
Are they gonna try and kill a werewolf though?
Yes.
Good point, dude. I played Skyrim.
Yes, you are.
I played Skyrim.
I'm this close to turning back to Nadali's house.
Go back.
Siegfried
It's
is
okay.
here.
What does Siegfried do?
Do a coward.
Voice goes boom. Firebolt shoots in the air. People are gasping.
I don't actually turn into a
screaming.
werewolf. I don't
Yeah,
actually turn
okay.
into a werewolf.
Lucius looks at you when you say Siegfried, and he's kind of like, "What?" And Siegfried, Leopold
Hello?
Siegfried, turns around and he looks at you, and
Yeah, you're
He
gonna have to
says-
start distinguishing.
I was going to use their first names, and he says, "Oh, by the Paladin." And he sees all of you.
Hello.
I'm waving.
Ursula immediately uncasts thaumaturgy because she doesn't like drawing that much attention to herself, and honestly, she is kind of surprised at her own willingness to.
Shout, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He's gonna have to examine that at a later date.
Siegfried says, "Oh, by the Paladin," and Lucius speaks up and he says, "Oh, dare say, who are these people?" Leopold, would you like to introduce me? And Siegfried looks at all of you, and he just kind of shakes his head a little bit.
Mortified.
Cardo, we should have put on our masks.
You're in violation of OSHA protocol.
Yeah, we should have pulled Siegfried away.
234-5.
And he turns back and he says, "Lucius, don't worry about them. This is between me and you."
Bet.
And
Yeah, and the me includes all of us.
Lucius, he kind of saunters forward a little bit. He's swaying, you know. He's showing himself off to everybody. He's preening. And he says,
Kind of like this guy's style, I'm gonna be honest.
"Don't be crass, Leopold. It's been so long since you've seen your dear brother. You could afford me a little bit of respect and just introduce me."
I'm going to kill
And
this man.
you all notice that behind Lucius, actually, near the front of the crowd, you actually see a few knights standing amongst the
Okay.
crowd.
Oh no.
So Lucius isn't alone.
It's
Yeah.
the bullies like henchmen from
Goddamn.
They're all snapping. The Jets
Nameless
are gonna
bully
have their
number 2,
way
like-
tonight.
Tough guy snapping.
And he says,
We're this whole time we are making our way towards Siegfried.
We're tough guy snapping.
Yeah, we're his gang.
Lucius looks at all of you and he says, "Oh, you look like a fun group indeed. Lots of
It's true.
He looks at you, Ursula, and he goes, "Oh, a drow."
Yeah, what's up?
Yes. What of it?
So you don't see very many drow up on the surface.
I suppose it must be your lucky day then.
He throws his cape over his shoulder,
Yeah,
and
of
he
course
gives
does.
a very low bow, and he says, "I am Lucius von Siegfried, and I assume you are friends of my dear brother."
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I almost want to kick Siegfried out of the group because of this guy.
What?
No.
Bruh!
Just because
That's
they're
I would-
messed
related.
up, man.
I would sooner kick you out of the group. I'll be honest.
It's
Just 'cause they're
true.
related.
This is our Zuko.
Just because they're related.
Oh, I see.
Wait, who's our Zuko? Siegfried? What?
No. Lucius. Eventually.
Bruh. Well, I like his style. I'll be honest.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
I completely forgot. I started thinking about Zuko, then I went to Virgil, and then I lost my train of thought.
Nice. He just introduced himself. He says, "I am
He
Lucius
bowed.
von Siegfried."
I'm not
You did
bowing.
a nice.
Can I
neither.
tombstone him since he's bowing in front of her?
Watcha!
I run up, grab him by the waist, and
My God, that sounds
knuckle
like
him
music.
into my crowd.
I just like nod my head. Like,
Yeah, Ursula.
Across
also
my shoulders, I'm
nods.
squared up.
I just say
Ursula
Geffen,
nods
not
her
even
head
Geffen,
and says,
Sarah. So just
Hail,
fucking
hail
Geffen.
and well met.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
I
say
introduce
my name.
myself, but I throw my hammer over my shoulder instead of my cape.
I don't say anything.
Tip my hat. But my arms are crossed.
So we got half introducing ourselves, half being threatening as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
extremely,
I
extremely
don't threaten.
threatening.
I think that's a good
I
balance.
just stanced up. Or I'm not stanced up. I'm just
I'm
standing
kind of standing. My legs are parallel with my shoulders.
Averland.
My arms are crossed.
I
I'm
find
doing
a short
one right
person
now.
in the crowd and I lean up against them like all tall people do.
Like Sully and Mike, yes.
Yeah. So I'm not even like a part of your group. I'm just posted in the corner of the crowd.
Fools.
How are you gonna find that is gonna let you do that to them?
Nobody. Not a
They're just
single person.
confused because there's
No,
a guy
they're
out
not.
here that's
They
just shirtless
They get
that
away
just
from
wanders
you as soon as
around.
you try to do this.
What the hell?
Okay, so
Stinks.
you kind of introduce yourselves, I guess. And Averland speaks up and he says,
No. God damn it, Avril.
I'm Averland, Rogo Averland, in Siegfried's squad.
You ruined it, Ireland. God damn it. Why must you fail me so often?
Didn't Averland didn't ruin anything.
Lass,
Yeah, what's up?
it's okay. Siegfried
Is it?
says. He nods, says, Lucius, you preening peacock, this is between me and you. They're not a part of it.
Call that dude a peacock, dude.
Oh, Leopold. Always so cross. Always so blunt.
Peacock.
Says, I mean you no ill will, Leopold. Shut up, Lucius. I don't want to hear it. Just let me pass, and we can move on from this. We can pretend we never saw each other. Oh, my dear
God,
brother.
this really is how most family reunions be, huh?
So I can't allow that. You know this. What about dear father?
No.
I'm sure he would love to know
Dislike.
that the disappointment of the von Siegfrieds was back in town.
This next firebolt's going up his butt cheeks, dude.
Okay, Ursula, Ursula holds out her hand and
He's gonna have some spicy diarrhea.
you're gonna be tasting flames, buddy. Ursula holds out her hand and says, listen, Sir Siegfried, Mr. Siegfried,
Wait, which one's which?
I'm
Lucius
addressing
is
you.
fine, or von Siegfried if you wish to
I'm
differentiate
going to kill
me
this person.
from
I'm
Leopold.
going to use a spell slot and murder him.
Von
Stop.
Siegfried. I am.
I cast fireball into
I'm
the
sure
crowd
that
of people.
Siegfried would love to catch up, but he is, as he is in our party, he is actually. He's on. How do you say, a very high level right now, and we need him for some planning. And
How far do we time skip?
strategies.
This is a
We
week.
time skip to after.
The
I'm
whole
imagining he is gonna want to know about this Istvan bullshit. Then this guy, this Tarkets guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I mean like
This
a
is-
5-day, because it was 2 days after when we met the guy. So
Yeah.
It's like
This is
5
So-
days or something.
this is a total of 7 days later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been a week.
So yeah, so
So like,
we're gonna.
it would be
basically-
perfectly legal to tell Lucius that we're
Yeah,
under the
exactly.
Cassar.
Exactly. Yeah, and yeah, Ursula says we are under. We're working directly under the Cassar, and basically, you know how honor bound Siegfried is. You know, matters of the crown are gonna have to take precedence over a family reunion. So
Yeah, we don't have time for sibling
just-
rivalry right now.
we'll just
Lucius-
We
have to
kind of have
take
important
a-
business.
Lucius begins to laugh when you say this, and he says,
Yeah, what's up?
oh, honor? You speak of honor with this
God damn it.
honorless traitor in your party.
Yep. I'm gonna rip him in half.
I also want to kill him.
that is great. Leopold Siegfried, the traitor and the dreg that he was, has climbed himself back up into the Cassar's good graces. Oh my, this... Oh, and he begins to clap and he says, this is like a story.
Listen here, you little twink. you're really getting on my nerves. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, and I have friends. My friends are, I love them, but
I'm like
they
2
have
seconds away from casting Ties of Chaos.
They have no temper control at all. I'm really just trying to look out for you here. So, keep talking that smack if you
Trying to catch these hands.
Yeah, if you're trying to catch these hands, paws, knives, swords, and daggers.
Firebolt.
And firebolts.
And a hammer.
I just don't say I didn't try to help you.
He has 2 attacks. You should watch out for the hammer.
I also have 2 attacks with my hands.
I got lefty and righty right here.
Averlin speaks up and he says, "Yeah, unlike you preemie peacock."
Oh god damn it!
Yeah! Get him,
You got him, Averlin. You got him. I got him on the ropes for you. Let's go.
Says,
tag him in.
Our good sergeant here. He's a loyal and an honor-bound man, and he's kept us safe. Loyal. Oh my dear boy. Oh no.
Ursula steps back and like holds her hand out to the rest of the squad. Like, all right, I tried.
I'm about to enter the Avatar state in 2 seconds. I swear to God.
Says, Leopold, my dear brother, do they not know? What have you told them? Lucius, you shut your mouth.
Wild backstory is about to come.
Ursula has completely stepped back.
I'm going to shoot a fireball at Geffen.
Like Lucius gestures to the crowd. He says, "Oh, this is just fantastic. We have dirty laundry and a crowd to hear it all. It's like a play."
This little twink, I fucking hate this guy. This is a little bastard.
Wait,
Ursula elbows Geffen and she's like, next time you open big mouth, you should like blow a note on your trumpet.
No, I got an idea. I got an idea. You should cast Vicious Mockery on him.
That's a little... Can I do that without doing the damage, though?
You just want us.
Non-damage roll.
I just want the magic part of an insult, but without the damage. I don't think that's possible.
No, that's not possible. By its very nature, it does damage.
It's true. Yeah.
Where's my character sheet? I'll find something out.
Lucius gestures around, and as he does so,
shut this guy up. He's pissing me off.
The knights behind him come forward. And
how far is Lucius away from us?
He's 30 feet away. If you're standing next to Siegfried, he's 30 feet away across the plaza. The knights come forward, and you see 4 of them are wearing. They are wearing all green armor, like a mint green, and emblazoned on the chest they have a gold halberd. 2 of these 6 knights with him are not wearing helmets. They are wearing cloaks, or they're wearing hoods over, so you can't quite see their face. They are also not armed with halberds like the rest of the knights are.
I sense a psych. I sense psychs.
And Lucius says, "Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. My dear entourage with my dear brother." "Shut your mouth, Lucius." Says, brother, you cannot sit and lie to these folks. It is not part of your nature." Says, what has dear Leopold told you? What do you know of him?
Ursula just crosses her arms. She really isn't in the mood to entertain this idiot anymore.
Oh my god, he's 30 feet away, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get closer to him?
I guess you can.
Are you gonna sneakily get closer? Because his guards might.
Guess who has prestidigitation?
His guards might. Oh no! Oh no! You might have to sneakily do it. Are you gonna share your plan with the in?
I'll make him shit himself, dude. What are you talking about?
No. I mean, in character, because we can try to distract him. Is what I'm saying.
I'm going to say it's gonna be impossible for you to get close to him because you're in a square filled with people staring at all of you.
Fuck!
Damn
Plus,
it!
he's looking at
Makes
you.
sense.
His guards are looking at you. It's
I
gonna
was
be,
I
going
don't
to
know. I
soil
have
his
a really high
pants.
stealth.
It's not gonna work. It's daylight.
Oh, I have that one stupid stealth ability where I can just disappear.
Don't try to
Wait,
break the
Ricardo's
game.
broken the game.
I can only do it once per long rest, so I don't know when the next long rest is.
Lucius speaks up again, and he says, "Well, I'm assuming you have long rested before this, because you've been in the
True.
city." Anyway,
Just chilling.
If he gets closer to me, he's gonna poop himself. So warning to you, Patrick, and to him.
Bro, I'll do it. I swear to God, I'll make you shit your. I will prestidigitate shit into
I
your
will
pants.
soil his armor
also,
immediately.
I will point out that Lucius's cloak is the same mint green with the gold halberd on the back.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
He says,
Mint green. I love Shamrock Shakes.
"Oh, my brother, it is such a tragic story."
Why can't we just hold on? Pause.
What's up?
Why can't we just walk away?
Because Siegfried's still there, he's gonna keep talking.
Siegfried, come on. Siegfried, let's go.
He looks at you all, and he, you notice finally, Siegfried has a letter in his left hand. And he's trembling a little bit.
Where he going? What you doing?
It's for
Siegfried!
Sarah. It's for Sarah, and it's for Evelyn.
Oh!
I was going
He's
to...
going to the post office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucius speaks of, "Oh, yes, Sarah and Evelyn. Sarah, the Eastvanian whore you married." And Siegfried looks
Rude.
up.
Rude!
And he's
Alright.
fuming.
Okay. It's almost
All
vicious
right.
mockery time.
It's getting closer.
It's getting close!
And Siegfried shouts.
Screw the damage, this guy's going down!
Siegfried shouts, he says, "You keep her name out of your dirty mouth."
Oh.
I know you loved her, and, yes,
Dolly
yes.
left, right?
Yes, she
We
was
went-
getting,
we went
she was
without
getting
her.
Sigismund and,
Yeah.
Euphrates.
Right.
Just making sure.
Just making sure we can't go, Mom! Do something!
Tell him to stop.
Tell him to stop, Mom!
And he
Lucius
says,
definitely said, "I'm not touching you."
he says, yes, the Eastvanian whore that you married. And
Rude.
Siegfried speaks up, and he says, "You keep her name out of your dirty mouth." He says, I know you love her, Siegfried. Or Leopold, I know, my dear brother.
I want you to know that if we weren't in a crowd of people and there was a chance of me casting Fireball on myself, I would have already used Tides of Chaos.
Anyways.
And, Averlin speaks up,
Ooh.
and he shouts,
Go, boy.
Everyone's
Oh.
angry.
"Who cares where she's from? Who disowns a brother for that?" And Lucius
no.
begins laughing.
Oh, no.
Averlin,
says-
no, you fool. You're playing right into his hand.
That's what he wanted you to do!
"Is that what the dear Leopold told you? Is that what my brother told you? We disowned him for marrying an Istvanian peasant? Oh, Leopold, why are you lying to these people?"
Oh,
And
it's
you
about to
see
get juicy.
God
Siegfried,
damn, I wish we kept those guns we bought.
for the first time since meeting him, you see that Siegfried kind of slumps his shoulders a little bit. And he looks ashamed.
Geffen, I want you to know it's not too late to cast Fireball.
And Averlin looks at Siegfried, he says, What's he talking about, Sergeant?" And Lucius speaks up and he says, "Our dear friend Siegfried," and he gestures around to the crowd. Or, "Our dear friend Leopold, my dear brother," and he gestures around to the crowd and he says, "He's a traitor. He's a deserter."
Hmm?
Oh.
Hmm?
But
And the crowd gasps when he says so.
We have a live studio audience.
I'll look under your chairs. There's
Dark
$100
Crusade
gift
shot in
card
front
for
of a
Pottery
live
Barn.
studio audience.
Not very pogger, Siegfried.
And Siegfried looks even more ashamed now. And Averland looks shattered.
I'm thinking emoji right now.
Oh,
Well-
we're gonna break Averland here, aren't we?
Here,
better not.
Oh, well,
I'm with
okay.
the boys.
Let's not jump to conclusions. I mean, if it was this could have very well been like a Vietnam situation. If it was a battle. I mean, you know, if it was
It's an
something that
Underdark
we
thing.
would- Yeah, it's an Underdark. Sorry, Vietnam was an Underdark.
I can't believe Vietnam happened in the Underdark.
Yeah, no,
That's crazy. What were they jumping out of?
No,
It's
don't worry
flames.
about it.
The
They're in the
guerrilla warfare was
walls.
just
Yeah, it
terrible,
was-
man.
What?
It was a battle between two great tribes, and then the Viet Dro were there as well. It was
Yes,
terrible.
yes. And like you know, the Ameridro just wouldn't admit that they lost, and they just kept pouring people into
Like a
it.
mirror prize.
What I mean to say is that if this was a battle that Siegfried was morally
Love
opposed
Assassin's
to,
Creed.
and
Oh
you don't know
no,
the
my
context
dear.
of this at all.
No.
First off, don't call me my dear. I would thank you to remember my name.
I'll shoot you with a firebolt.
Tommy, what do you,
Did you-
or Timmy, what
Yeah,
are
you
you
did
taking
introduce
pictures
yourself.
of?
My face.
Yeah,
My face.
He Snapchats on max volume through his speakers. That's not a joke.
It's not. It's not.
It's my dear brother. He
I have shocking
deserted.
grasp. I can
He
kill him.
deserted the guard because he did not like the last Kel, the queen of Cadia, before
Oh.
she passed.
well, I'll be honest, that is not very poggers. Well, why? Ursula turns to Siegfried. Like, Siegfried, speak up for yourself. We're on your side. What? Tell us your side of the story.
He tells the truth, lass. There's nothing more than that.
But you just didn't like her? I mean, what didn't you like about her? Were you just like a bitch, or?
That's rude.
He shakes his head and he looks up at Lucius, and Lucius speaks up and he says, "Ah, dear brother, he's was a warmonger, you see. He wanted the Kel to send forces down to the city-states. He believed they would be very useful as a buffer between Istvan."
Oh,
Makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it does make sense.
Ah, yes, let's ignore the fact that we'd be putting so many of them to the sword.
Yeah,
Mm.
but I mean,
Sacrifice I'd make as a cow.
that's kind of what they said.
Yeah, but that's our
As a
leader.
cow?
I mean, listen.
Cal. K-A-L.
I love cows.
Cal!
Leopold turns to you and he says, I was younger in those days. I didn't. And Averlin speaks up and he says, You're a damn traitor. You're a deserter.
Oh, Aaron.
Oh.
Who
Poor
hasn't
naive
killed a
little
few
boy.
people? I definitely have.
Ursula's kind of torn because on one hand, yeah, Ursula's torn. It's hard to put into words because like she believes that everyone should kind of like have control over their own fate. So like, but also she knows that if he's talking about soldiers and guards, that's what like that's what they do, and the threat that is, and like she knows the threat that Isman poses now, so it's kind of hard to look at it without hindsight. But also, I don't think that he would have like should have left over that.
Perhaps.
Averlin speaks up and he says, How can you sit and preach to me about service and duty when you're a traitor and a deserter yourself? Boy, Do not lecture me. And Averlin turns, and he walks away from you all.
Oh man.
Averlin's had a rough few days.
Thank God he's gone.
Averlin hobbles. Shut up, man.
Averlin's having a hard week.
That dude sucks at battle.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's our boy.
you're right.
That's our son.
He needs to get better.
Not my kid.
And Leopold turns, and he says, "Enough of this, Lucius. You've made your point. You've said what you were going to say. Now let me go. Just let me go through." "Oh no, my dear brother. There are family matters we must attend to. I'm sure you know this. You can't just waltz back into Casa Arcadia and with your stained name and leave your stink here and not answer for your
Damn.
You
crimes."
Called him
stink.
Stinky.
Stinky.
So then for the rest of you,
Yeah, what's up?
what say I entreat you to some dinner? You could learn the true side of the von Siegfrieds, the noble side, not with a dirty traitor.
Okay, guys. Before we answer.
Yeah, what's up? I already have an answer.
I mean, I know that it's no, but like, I think that might be strategically advantageous to like, because do we know if the Siegfrieds are like noble? They're not noble. They're noble. But do we know if they're like really powerful?
You only know from Siegfried that they were a lower noble house, but he said he didn't know if they had gained in any power since he left.
So,
Yes.
here's how Ursula thinks about it. Because Ursula
repeat
comes
real
from a world. Sorry. Oh, Pete. I thought he said repeat. So Ursula comes from a world of just nothing but political intrigue and trying to get the drop on people you don't like. So her perspective is that if we go to dinner with him, you know, if he's such a braggart, maybe he's gonna say something that will give us a way to like take him down, because he pisses me off, and it would be really fun to publicly humiliate him if that was possible.
If we have time to go to dinner with this man, we have to leave.
Very good. I guess that's a question for Patrick. If we're leaving today.
And we need Siegfried back to leave. And Averlin.
That's true, we do.
I'm back. I was peeing.
But we can't.
So what's the plan?
Well, when are we leaving? We're leaving today.
Supposed to be leaving today.
Yes. You were, well, you're getting your banner today, so it would probably be advantageous to leave.
I think that would be very interesting. But we don't have time. Then, whatever. You guys can say something.
What? Why us?
Because I don't want to be the only person ever talks.
I was talking. I got nothing.
I have an
my
idea,
thoughts.
but like,
Eric?
I
Fireball?
don't.
Share it.
What? No.
Fireball?
What?
Oh.
Share your
Like-
idea.
In terms of like, I guess tainting the new Siegfried house that is with Lucius now.
Yeah.
Like, I got some ideas about that, but like,
Yeah. It
I don't
sounds
think a
petty and
dinner-
fun.
I don't think a dinner is gonna further those plans.
True.
Like, I don't know. In character, Geffen will explain it when we get to not in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
At least I'll explain it to Siegfried, but
You're a criminal.
I don't know. I'm not criminal.
You were a criminal.
I was, but
I'm
what are you
not.
gonna do?
It will. I
Good
think,
question.
as I said, we are on very important
We're on
business with the
borrowed
Casa,
time here.
and we actually have to go. So I was not lying about that.
We gotta
So,
go.
Oh, I see. You don't have time. That is
Yeah.
fine. Well,
We don't.
then we can solve this here and now.
What?
Huh?
Hell yeah.
Solve what?
Leopold Siegfried,
Yeah,
and
what's up?
he draws his rapier out. He says,
Whoa!
Don't you dare say he's under arrest. I'm gonna shoot you in real life.
"On the honor of the von Siegfried family, it
Oh
is,
God.
and as the next in line to the fortune and the house,
Yes.
it befalls to me to bring you, to justice for your crimes. I challenge
there
you
it is.
to a duel."
What?
Whoa, hey, whoa, hey.
Hey, wait!
Right?
I want to help. What do you mean? Mm-mm?
No, the duel ain't flying with the Winkums.
Oh,
No.
Mm-mm.
We do not. This is Ursula speaking. We do not have time, nor do I care about this good sibling rivalry.
yes.
I
Oh.
am not being. I'm not being like egotistic when I say that the fate of this country basically rests with us. So you can duel when you get back.
True.
But we actually have much more important things to do, and Siegfried, for all his faults, is a part of this party, and he...
Mhm.
What? Was
We
that...
gotta go.
mm?
We're on business.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said
No.
That is all very
hasn't
well
let
and
us down
good,
yet.
but by
Yeah.
law, I can challenge him to a duel.
Yeah,
It's
just
time
gonna
to
have-
do. I'm
it's
all
just gonna
about
have
it.
to
I
And you
love
will not
Well-
touch him.
We speak for the Cassars, so
Yeah,
I feel like we kind of overrule your power here.
The
it's gonna have
Cassar
to
would
be
support me
later.
in this matter. It is one of the oldest laws here in Cassar Arcadia.
It just...
Makes
A
sense.
duel
Makes
for
sense.
the honor of the knightly
It can
house.
be when we get back.
Isn't
Nope.
Siegfried no
Nope.
longer part of the knightly house? What does it matter?
Duel right here,
Because
right now.
Siegfried
Duel
has-
right here,
No,
right
Timmy.
now.
He's brought
Yes.
dishonor upon the house. He is
It's
here.
the laws of the
as am
land,
I.
dude.
It's the law.
Fuck the laws.
Good.
Kieran and Ansel, you would know that he is telling the truth. This is the law.
I'm all about it.
It is.
Can we do this tag team style?
Nope.
Oh,
They gotta
no.
fight right
like
now.
this.
Right here, right now.
This is between brothers.
I have a brother.
You gesture over to Winkums.
Yeah.
Siegfried, what say you?
Yes.
Siegfried looks up, and the bags under his eyes have come back.
Oh.
He tired.
Good.
And he holds his halberd out in front of him, and he says, "I'll accept."
Wait, hold on. What happens if he loses?
I was
Then he-
afraid. I was afraid.
He dies.
that-
It's to the death.
It's a duel to the death?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's the laws of the land.
That's why
Man.
Winkums isn't okay with it, because although his interests for Arcadia, Siegfried's part
Kieran's
of
not
the,
on board with it either, even though he
part
knows
of the
that's
big
the letter
picture
of
for
the law.
Arcadia.
So yes, so if this is to the death, we extra can't have
Yeah,
it
no,
happen
we need
because
Siegfried, which is,
Siegfried-
you know, in the greatest
I'm not-
interest of Arcadia. No.
Well, we can bring this to court if you want, because I don't think the Cassar would support you on dueling right here, right now. Maybe in the future, but
Nope.
Yes.
Siegfried is an integral part of this party, and he has information that actually only we in the Cassar know.
Yes. We can't have him hurt.
Leopold turns to you, and he
Yeah.
says,
At least not mortally.
and he looks
Don't
at
you
you,
do
and
this.
he says, "This goes beyond just the law.
Yeah.
I think you know this."
Yeah, that's
Why
stupid.
do
Doesn't
you have
matter.
to
I don't
be this
care.
way?
Because I have sins I have to atone for.
Later.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, you can fucking.
Not
you can
right
do that
now.
Later.
We have
I want
to
to
leave.
volunteer as tribute.
Siegfried. if
True.
this
Sure,
is
I
your
too would like to
fate-
kick this guy's ass.
I would also like to tag in for Siegfried.
If this is your fate, far be it from me to stand in between it and you. But we we need you right now.
Yes, that's true.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not going to lose.
Oh, good point.
God damn it! Oh, you're so cool, Siegfried.
That's cool.
Ursula
I don't know what to
doesn't
say to that. That's
That's
cool.
That's Belle saying that.
God damn it.
And besides,
Yeah, fuck.
I've waited 30 years to kill this damned idiot.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Here's the
I'm gonna
thing.
shoot.
Now,
a message.
please tell me Siegfried takes off like his armor and just drops
he's like-
it behind him, and I'm right behind him, and I get to hold his armor.
Please tell me I get to lick the sweat off his fucking.
He does not.
Are we doing
But-
you're
Sure.
a baby right now, or what?
He does take off his hat, and he kind of wrings out his hair a little bit, so he looks a little bit more savage than you're used to.
Yeah!
Kieran is hard as a rock.
Ursula holds up her hand.
What's up?
And steps
Can
back.
I shoot a message into Siegfried's head? Real
Sure.
quick?
Yeah.
Tell him that we will intervene if he starts to lose.
No, I'm gonna say.
Wingums will.
I'd say, do you want this to do as honorable as possible, or would you like a little extra help?
You want a little,
Bardic
you
inspiration.
know,
He
Even.
responds
we're-
in the open. He says, "Lad, just play a nice little tune for me while I'm doing
Actually, this is perfect for
Oh,
Geffen
shit,
Saris.
okay.
You can. This is perfect for Geffen Saris. You can like fucking relive the old days and just be
No,
taken
That's
aback.
bad. No, those are bad
Those are
old
bad
days.
days.
Make
those
a
are not the
little-
fun
make
days.
a little honey.
No, that was bad.
Could you imagine? I start collecting the bets from fucking.
Yeah, just like fucking.
Odds are 15 to 1.
You're
The
rolling.
throwdown
You're,
of the
you're rolling the
century.
die for this fight, right?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh my
Chance.
god,
Siegfried.
Johnny is too excited.
I am gonna be very, very sad though if this is not going in our favor.
Oh, if Siegfried loses, it's actually.
I will
outside of this guy.
I will simply
I'm-
shoot him with a
I
firebolt
am
if such a thing
looking.
happens.
I am looking
True.
at the goddamn.
I already said this. If
fucking...
Siegfried
you don't
ever
have to do-
dies,
I am not
Broken.
gonna watch the rolls.
yeah, as I already said, if Siegfried ever,
That's a good idea.
You guys.
If Siegfried
I'm not
ever
gonna watch
dies,
the rolls.
I'm
I am just
breaking
gonna
my
let
oath.
Patrick narrate this to me.
Honest
If
to
you
God,
guys
I was
want.
about to be like, Bardic Inspiration, Enhance Ability spells, just all
Yeah,
over the
fucking-
place. But fucking Siegfried's like, nah, let me just do this, man. I'll be like, okay.
I was for sure about to cheat.
Right? Like,
If
Wait,
it
we're
gets
not
bad, I'll
cheating?
still cheat, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
matter.
I thought we were definitely cheating.
No, I'm
Yeah.
definitely cheated for
It's a
sure.
picture.
if Siegfried loses, I'm breaking my oath. So
Bruh. What's
I
your
will
oath?
wild
What is
magic.
your oath in the first place?
vengeance.
Huh?
Oath of vengeance.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what would it mean to break your oath?
It becomes an oathbreaker.
Kill an innocent
I
person.
lose
Yes.
smite and stuff,
wouldn't
and
be-
basically
wouldn't be
I
innocent,
am
though, would it?
lawless. Like I don't have a, I'm not lawful good anymore. I'll kill his brother.
I'll also kill. I will wild magic surge. if
I
this
already
is really
told
bad.
Patrick this. God damn it! Like 4 sessions ago, I was like, if Siegfried ever dies, I'm breaking my oath on the spot.
I
Like,
think that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, but okay, here's the thing.
What's
here's
up?
the thing. If someone kills Siegfried, they're not really an innocent person anymore, are they?
No, because that's the law, so they are innocent.
yeah.
Ugh.
Which I'll break my oath and I'll go after him.
Great. Good that we're all.
How many knights does he have with him?
6. 4 of them, and 4 of them in full plate. 2 of them are.
I can
Perfect.
kill 6
I
dudes.
haven't had
The
any
market,
tattoos.
the
to my
market's
arm
gonna
lately.
get real
Like,
bloody here. The
You got
market
your
is gonna
spell
get
slots,
really
Geffen?
bloody.
I haven't had any check marks to my arm lately, so
War crimes, war
I'm
crimes.
getting a little itchy.
yeah.
Oh boy.
How many spell slots you got?
We're all fucking loaded up on spell slots, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cast
you're all
fireball
full.
3 times. We're
I
gonna
heard
have
my
to do
name.
it.
What's up? I was getting juice.
Um,
You're gonna have to catch fireball.
I suppose I should have described Lucius a little
Eventually.
bit better. Lucius is as tall as Siegfried,
Yeah.
so he's 6 feet tall. He weighs less than Siegfried. He's a little bit more wiry than Siegfried
lies.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
He is mustached. He's princely, and he holds himself up like he's better than all of you constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a
kind of,
little
I
bit.
wish he wasn't such a bastard to us because I kind of like his vibe, but
Oh yeah, he's fitted. I like it. I like his look.
I know I kind of like his vibe, but like, you know,
So,
Yeah, I want to kill him.
we're gonna start before I roll initiative. I'm gonna set the scene.
Wait, hold on. Who all is watching the die roll? I walked away from my tablet.
I'm looking. I'm looking
I'm
directly
not.
at it.
I should actually probably exit out of the Dark Crusade tab because
Can
I'm gonna be too tempted.
Can I do something like while this fight is about to start?
Yeah, play it too.
What are you gonna do?
Well, no, Can I go find Averland? Because he walked away, right?
You're not gonna watch?
Averland needs to know
when you
what's about
turn
to
around,
go down.
You
Actually,
see
that's
that
probably
Averland has pushed his way into the crowd a little bit, but at the sound of the duel, he's kind of turned around. He's walking.
Ah, yep.
He
he's still-
cares!
Yep.
I will point out, Averland does not look happy, as he looks
Well,
pretty
yeah.
pissed.
Averland,
Yeah, well.
he's just
I'm gonna
still
talk some
so,
sense in Averland after this,
He's
but
just still so young and like
I know all the
he
times
doesn't
Siegfried has
understand
saved
that
Averland's
there-
ass.
He doesn't understand that there's a gray area.
Siegfried, he sets down his heavy crossbow that he carries. He's got his shield slung across his back with his, he's got his mace and he's got his halberd. And he turns to you, Winkums, and he hands you the letter that's meant for his wife.
Oh no!
sobbing.
He says,
I bet it says some shit like I'm probably gonna come up against Lucius and he's probably gonna want to duel me. So
and he says to you, Winkums, he says, "No, I'm not gonna lose to this peacock, but just make sure
Ursula-
she gets it."
Ursula, who believes very
Give him a nice little nod.
karma,
A
love,
little smack on the butt, you know?
like all
Siegfried,
that.
Go
she
get him,
says-
champ!
She says,
Siegfried,
you
if
can't say
Siegfried
that
pulls
you're
some
not going
Obi-Wan
to
shit,
lose.
I'm gonna be upset.
I have the high
You
ground.
can't say that. Is there any wood around? Is there any wood besides fucking Kieran? Or what's your character's name, Johnny?
Kieran.
Kieran. Yeah. Besides his dick, is there any wood that is like, for Ursula to knock on?
Don't you have a staff, man?
Oh, I
It's
do.
all-
Ursula knocks on her staff.
Bruh.
Knock on wood.
I knocked on my wood.
Good.
Oh my god.
Siegfried
Synchronized one.
Siegfried steps forward, and he does a little twirl with his halberd, like he spins it in his hands. And he takes his halberd, like the blade, and he drags it along the stone so that it sparks a little bit.
I've seen this scene, dude. I played Devil May Cry 3.
So that it sparks a little bit.
I'm looking up battle sword fight noises.
Siegfried's got his
You mean
hair.
just Virgil?
He's got his hair flowing free.
Yeah.
Lucius takes his cape, and he undoes it, and it falls to the ground. And then he takes his chest
A
plate.
drooling fangirl picks it up and is like, ah.
It falls to the ground, and then
Tries to throw it to the crowd.
he unlatches both of the clasps for his chest and back plate, and he
Limiter
pulls it
off.
off, and he drops it to the ground next to him. And he expertly brings his rapier up to his face, and he drops it down to his side. And he steps forward to Siegfried.
I'll be dead.
And now,
Sword fight sounds. Here we go.
they're rolling for initiative.
10 hours of sword fighting sounds.
Oh god. I can't believe it's come to this. Hold on.
Oh, you thought
I'm-
we were gonna find a way to stop this?
Yeah.
Nope.
Really? Oh no!
Oh, I did not mean to roll there, but hey.
I'm looking up Oathbreaker Paladin right now.
That'd actually be dope.
5. Okay.
Just
Who
curious.
is gonna roll for? We'll have Lucius roll for initiative first.
Worst comes to
I-
worst, Ursula is gonna turn into she's
Okay.
gonna use wild shape for the first time in this goddamn campaign, and turn into
I
like
had
a
to-
little baby mouse and
I
stop
put
them.
my tablet in the other room and
Why
I
would
started
that help?
playing World of Tanks.
What's up?
You know what I'm hearing right now?
Yeah.
Metaphorically and literally,
Yeah.
I'm hearing Mission 19 music right now. Intro.
Oh boy. Well, Lucius is going first. Oh, I won't say anything more than that. Actually, I'll keep this very cinematical for Johnny.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking hoping for, bitch.
Where's the Spotify? Hurry, hold on.
Oh, these
I'm
are
on YouTube,
interesting.
baby.
Don't start yet. I gotta boot up the duel.
Alright.
Okay,
Okay.
these sword fight music it's too often. D&D ambiance. Small. Okay, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is a YouTube channel called D&D
Whoops.
Ambiance.
Hold on,
Or no,
there
the
you
YouTube is called Sword Coast Soundscapes.
Yeah.
And it has like a bunch of really cool.
I already know what I'm listening to.
If you're like me and you like ambient noises.
Okay, back.
Dude, the drums on this go so hard.
Yeah.
Lucius and
It's okay.
Leopold.
If it gets bad, I'll just cheat.
I'm not letting you die.
I'm not letting
down
you
their
die.
Actually, when I said I was gonna turn into a mouse earlier, I lied. Ursa wouldn't do that. She would not get in the way of fate, death, fate.
I could just listen to the first 30 seconds to this over and over again like I am right now.
You're like, yeah!
Or all of you guys in the Lustria campaign, this D&D, or this channel has a naval battle soundscape.
Oh, believe me, that was on
Oh yeah,
full
no,
loop.
for sure. I was listening to
That was on-
Assassin's Creed.
There was
Good.
the first two sessions of Lustria, I was doing naval stuff, like naval combat music, like pirate music, and then like just ambient forest music.
Oh, this guy has videos on like how he makes his stuff. That's really
Forest
cool.
Rain.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Alright, make sure I have all of the character sheets I need pulled up. This is... oh boy.
I am
Lucius is not
very
a
nervous.
pushover.
I'm very yeah.
Wild Surge.
Ursula is actually
We
She's
should have
actually
physically
very-
just picked him up and carried him away.
she's actually very surprised that she is so worried about a potential death.
They are 30 feet apart. And I'm sorry, Eric, you're going to recognize this. To start, Lucius,
Okay,
our
so I'm
character, is
starting.
spending a swashing point in
Ah!
character.
Oh, hello! This is not good, guys.
What's a swashing point?
This is not good.
Swashbuckler is a special kind of.
Oh
They are.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is like, hey, if you find someone with like a humanoid with a weapon, like,
no! They can make it like a show.
They're like, hey, I can disarm you. Hey, I can.
No, they're pirates, basically.
Repertoire you. Or
Oh
whatever
yes.
it's
wait,
fucking called.
Patrick, I'm sorry. What was the weather for today?
Oh,
was
shit,
overcast.
you're right. I
Overcast.
should- No,
It was overcast.
No, it
Oh,
was
wait, no, new
overcast
day,
when
new day.
we went to
It
go
was,
meet.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was overcast when we went to meet Creed. It is.
If it's
oh,
raining,
Raining,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
sob.
cry.
It's lightly raining.
No!
That's
Please,
whack, dude.
God.
And I'm not even lying. I rolled a
Stop
79.
it.
I rolled 79, which is light rain on the D100.
Ugh.
All right.
Oh my god, I'm sick to my stomach.
Me too.
Actually, a bunch of
Johnny
shit
about to
about
vomit.
come up.
Dashing forward in a lunge,
He misses.
Leopold is going right away for Siegfried. He's moving incredibly fast.
Let's put this on infinite loop here. There we go.
Oh, but Siegfried, veteran that he is, gets his halberd up and just blocks the attack.
Eric, I really hope you're listening to the dual on
Saris,
infinite loop. Like,
Saris, you should be fucking.
yeah.
You should be fucking like riling the crowd up for goddamn.
Start duding.
I'm
Make the
too
song.
nervous.
All my piccolo trumpets sound like fart.
I will point out that the entire time, Lucius has just this shit-eating grin on his face. He knows.
Yeah, of course he does.
Of course.
he does.
He knows he's better than Siegfried in his mind. Siegfried with
Oh,
he
Tampa
blocks
royal bitch.
he blocks the attack with the lunging rapier. And he brings his halberd up and he goes for a giant slash on Lucius.
Carve out his heart.
Lucius tries to get his rapier up in time, but the weight of the halberd smashes aside his guard and cuts Lucius across his arm.
Bro, I'm stress eating chocolate chips right now.
Bam, bam, bam.
And that deals.
Did he drop blood? Did he drop blood?
Oh yeah, he did. Oi, holy shit! Lucius is now bleeding rather heavily from his left arm as the blood starts to stain. The blood stains his green and gold tunic that he's wearing underneath. Oh, there goes that one. There goes that one. Oh well.
Patrick, I'm so sorry that you have to do this.
No, it's good.
No,
I had this planned ahead of time. It's fine.
I think it's really funny that you were like, nah, it won't come to that.
Oh well. I'm
ready to commit murder.
Plans.
Me too.
Siegfried speaks up after he does this, and he says, "Where's that famed duelist I heard about, Lucius?"
Oh shit!
Don't get cocky, dude.
Get
Don't get
chirped.
cocky.
Where's
the
your
moment you get
motivation?
cocky is the moment you've lost. No, don't taunt.
You're going down.
No!
Scum.
Lucius, sitting on the balls of his feet, he's smiling. He's like, "Oh yeah, somebody drew some blood. This is gonna be fun." He's dancing around on the balls of his feet, and he goes for a thrust, and he does his extra attack to try to strike twice against Siegfried. He goes for a thrust down below, and then he's going for a thrust up top at Siegfried.
Low. Cock.
The thrust down below finds purchase in Siegfried's side, and the thrust up top... Oh, Siegfried turns his rapier aside from the thrust up top, seeing it, and forces it out of his hand as he attacks him.
Oh.
Lucius, however, does draw blood against Siegfried, dealing
7,000 damage.
Oh!
Oh no, I don't like the sound of that.
I'm looking directly at it.
Let me look at
I'm
it.
not looking.
Oh, I'm looking!
No, it's gonna make it worse.
No, don't. You guys can't watch the dice
No,
roll.
yeah, seriously.
I'm
Alright.
looking.
I'm
I
not
need to
looking
know.
at dice rolls anymore.
I need to know when I'm interviewing these.
The first strike from Lucius carves into Siegfried's belly, and you see that there is a steady stream of blood that is going down and staining his blue and gold armor, or his blue and gold clothing on his thigh. But as he comes up top, Siegfried knocks the rapier out of his hand and immediately goes for a thrust with his halberd against Lucius.
You better roll nat 20.
I'm so fucking nervous, dude.
And he sticks Lucius right in the chest with it, and Siegfried does his famous flurry of blows that he's done a few times.
Go for the jugular.
Bite his balls.
Good point, Johnny. Good point. Balls
So his initial
released.
strike. Oh my goodness.
Jesus Christ!
This is turning out as awesome as I hope it would.
Somebody stop me.
Hold on.
Somebody start me.
This isn't completely resolved yet. I need extra bookmarks. There we go. Let me do this.
I'm so fucking nervous.
So
I play with my hair when I'm nervous, and I've been playing with my hair the last 20 minutes.
In character, are you doing that?
No, in character, I'm stoic.
He's just nodding. Yes.
Ursula
This is how it's supposed to be.
Ursula is like, she's like, her teeth are clenched, and she's like.
I am
picking at
hyper
her-
focused.
She's
I'm
like picking at her
pacing.
nails.
I need to pee, but I can't leave.
Dude, we'll listen to you pee. It's fine.
there's
No.
You're stronger when you pee.
How much?
When you have
I'm
to
stronger
pee.
when I have to pee. Yeah,
Are we trying to figure out how much damage still?
Yeah. I just need to, because Siegfried has a special rule where he does a chain attack. So Siegfried,
Got that combo, brother.
ooh, not as good as I thought it would be. Oh well. Siegfried. Okay, did not do that either. All right, so Siegfried knocks the rapier out of his hand as he goes for the top blow, and he sticks Lucius in the chest with the halberd, and he forces him back, and as he forces him back, he brings the halberd up and slashes Lucius across his face and gives him a nice scar across his cheek.
Oh, across his pretty face.
And then he winks at him.
Lucius, probably adrenaline surging, reacts
Not
to the
money
blow
maker.
And as the rapier is falling, he sticks his foot out, he catches it with his foot, and kicks it back up into his hand.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, he's good.
I know that game.
And he feints at Siegfried going for a stab, and as Siegfried goes to defend, he smacks at Siegfried's halberd with his rapier.
Oh, fuck.
Roll
Oh,
that
boy.
one.
Battle music, let's go.
+3. Oh, he smacks at Siegfried's halberd, and Siegfried, not expecting it, has the halberd knocked out of his hands.
No.
Ah!
And it clatters to the ground. Undeterred,
Like...
undeterred, Siegfried, you see, cracks a smile, and he draws his mace. And
Hell yeah!
and he says, "This is gonna be fun now, Lucius." And he swings the mace right at Lucius's head.
I'm a little motivated.
Nah.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I do like the inclusion of Siegfried's, of both their taunts, actually.
He swings the mace across, aiming for Lucius's skull, but Lucius, expert that he is, brings his rapier up and deflects the blow aside. Lucius twirls. He drops his rapier from his right hand, catches it in his left, and attempts to thrust it into Siegfried as he does so.
He's so stylish.
And he sticks Siegfried
You
right in
cunt.
the chest with it. Oh boy. And as he's sticking it into his chest, he pulls it back out and he slashes it across him in a very duelist flourish, so he gets a bonus to the damage here. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
everyone take a deep breath. Everyone, like, unclench your buttholes.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Jesus
He
Christ!
slashes it across his chest, and Siegfried now is bleeding underneath the cuirass in his armor, and it's soaking his other thigh with blood. Siegfried's bleeding pretty heavily here. I'm sorry I have to do this all to you.
So they're both bleeding pretty good, right?
Yeah. Siegfried draws himself
Whose
up.
fucking music is that?
That's Siegfried's music.
That's
Oh.
Siegfried.mp3.
Ah, no, don't! No!
Oh, no.
Siegfried charges forward and he attempts to get inside Lucius's guard. And he is bringing his mace down across Lucius, and he knows that Lucius knows he's swinging wide. But Siegfried, Winkums, you notice, the little trick he taught you, is turning his hand in midair to try to catch Lucius off guard.
Play Fort Mine or remember the name.
10% luck.
Hey,
Alexis.
Sarah,
But
Alexis,
Lucius,
request dog!
but Lucius is an expert at this. Even though he's never seen this move before from Siegfried, he still sees it coming, and he again gets his rapier out and deflects the blow aside,
No. Fuck.
drawing
We
his
need a
rapier.
big
Cardo,
block
cue up
here.
that firebolt.
Yeah.
I think so. Here's my thoughts. If Siegfried gets down on a knee or is knocked back on his feet, that's probably when we should intervene.
Yes.
That's my opinion. Unless Averlin interferes before then, which I would.
Lucius deflects the blow
Would not
aside,
surprise me.
and as he's deflecting the blow aside, he turns his wrist expertly and slashes it down across Siegfried again, cutting into him.
No.
My boy Siegfried's gonna pass out.
Oh boy.
A lot of
Alright.
HP he's lost.
He slashes Siegfried across, and Siegfried takes a step back, but Siegfried smiles, and you see that he's bleeding rather heavily, but he shakes his arm loose and he says, "Is that all you got?" And he again charges at Averlin, or not Averlin, excuse me. That'd be horrible. That'd be horrible if he charged.
Does
at
a
Averlin.
180 and goes after Averlin.
He charges at
Siegfried
Lucius.
runs into the crowd.
He charges at Lucius, and his mace strikes home against Lucius's side. And
Let's go!
he brings his mace down around again and attacks again with his mace,
Let's
attempting to double hit him with this.
Aim for the balls.
Oh, and he
Aim for
hits
the
him
bushes.
both times.
Jeez.
Let's
He
go!
fucking like
Behead
calls
him.
the shot like he holds the fucking mace up.
Oh,
How long
Hit
have I
him with
listened
the
to this
chair.
song?
I forgot
So long.
that Siegfried is an expert with the mace as well.
Yeah, doesn't he get a bonus?
Oh, that's too bad for shit-faced McGee.
That's too bad for the
Wow,
peacock.
got him.
Oh,
You're a peacock.
okay.
Oh, oh Jesus! Oh, Jesus! You still rolling, man? Oh.
Siegfried brings his mace down against Lucius's left side, and you hear ribs shatter. And
Oh,
Lucius,
yes.
Well, I
Lucius
mean, oh, yes,
goes
but-
to the side, and Siegfried brings the mace down against his knee, and he sweeps his knee out from under him.
Bruh.
Siegfried steps forward, and he pins Lucius's hand to the ground, and he
Bruh!
holds his mace up. And brings his mace down on Lucius's face and shatters it and kills Lucius. Right
Oh!
there.
Yeah, the song's ending. Let's go.
Holy fuck! That was way faster than I thought it was gonna fucking be.
Thank God. I had this song
Jesus
queued up.
Christ!
And you guys thought it was a bad idea to let them duel.
It was a bad
Honest
idea.
to God, I think it's a bad idea. This is the worst case, or
I
the second
agree.
worst case scenario.
This is pretty bad.
I agree.
Good thing he died. Zach and I were snapping each other.
By the laws of the land, isn't Siegfried back in charge of his house then?
I don't fucking think so. I think that was just for honor.
He
Well,
won.
Siegfried
Yeah,
steps
it was
back.
him and his yeah,
mace still embedded in what was
Oh,
once his
gross.
brother's face.
Gross.
And he
Ew.
undoes the clasps on his armor and lets it fall to the ground. And then Siegfried goes down to one knee, and he
I
looks
rush.
over at you, and you notice that Siegfried is bleeding heavily from his chest.
Cure wounds, cure
and
wounds.
from the-
I
from
rush
the
and
wound
cast
in his
cure
side.
wounds.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to stop the
Ursula-
song now.
Ursula-
As you
Ursula
are going to
does
do
the same.
so, he holds up his hand. He says, "Don't, not yet."
What?
What kind of stupid human nonsense is this?
I'm over there too.
And
It's
he
honor.
looks over. I did not mean to roll, so don't ignore that. He looks over at the guards, and he looks up at them, and he says, and he points at his brother's body, and he says,
His brother's
"Take
still
it to
taking
Eidolon."
part. What?
That's his father.
House.
He points at his brother's body, and he says, "Take him to Eidolon. Let him know I was here."
Whoa!
Yeah!
I'm gonna fucking nut. You're so
I am
cool.
very afraid of Siegfried.
He's the strongest human
And
being
Siegfried,
on the
still
planet.
on one knee, wrenches the mace out of his brother's
Ugh,
face and
gross.
slides it back at his hip. And he turns to you all, or he looks over his shoulder at you all, and he says, "No more lies, no more secrets. I'll tell you everything from here on out. Just get me back to the
Good.
Dolly's place.
Uh-huh.
Don't cure these wounds."
What?
And he forces himself up to his feet.
Okay, man.
So we can do that later.
Alright.
And you notice the crowd are like shocked at what they just saw. And they're
Yeah,
kind of,
they just saw a man get his fucking brains imploded.
Jesus Christ. I look behind me. Is Averlin still there? Or...
Oh,
Averland,
good question.
Averland's kind of looking. He isn't so much shocked, but he sees Siegfried and he looks at him for a sec and he turns and he starts to walk back towards Nadali's place.
Oh, that's gonna be awkward because that's exactly where we're heading.
Sorry, we're gonna smack
I
some
hope he
sense
doesn't
into him.
know.
The crowd is partying for you all as you're walking back. Siegfried,
A quiet, silent crowd.
Siegfried is holding his armor in one hand and his halberd in the other. And as the crowd parts, you see Nadali, Sigismund, and Euphrates at the back of the crowd.
Fucking again, like the Donald Glover gif.
Out of character, Siegfried could only take about 10 more damage from that.
My
I
goodness.
figured.
That was probably the closest and most brutal fight he's had. And it was all over in a couple seconds, pretty much.
Yeah, you know what? Sorry, I can't even talk right now.
Good man.
That was like, you know, in the samurai movies when they like, you know, do the like whoosh past each other, and then it's like, you know, you're waiting on bated breath for like one of them to fucking fall.
Shing. Yeah,
So Nadali is waiting.
the song
for you
ended
all.
when the fight ended, by the way, Eric.
Nice.
Just about.
And you, I'm assuming you're just walking up to Nadali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we do, Mom?
Well, my dears, that was certainly something.
Yeah.
Let the record show, Leopold Siegfried, fucking wanted to avoid this. It was his brother who challenged him.
Yeah, it's true.
And as the law states, it was to the death, and Leopold will not face any punishment for this.
Excellent.
So Lucius was next in line. There's no other brothers.
I don't want the damned house.
Oh man, Jon Snow ass.
Fuck themselves.
I don't want it.
I don't want to.
True, that is very Jon Snow-esque.
I don't want it.
And should my father die, leave it to my daughter. She can decide what to do with it.
Ooh. That's cool.
That's sick.
cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna run through a wall.
That's dope, actually.
Nadali nods and she looks at Sigismund and she says, "Darling, would you please take care of that?" "Yes, Mom." And Sigismund turns around and he begins to march towards Nadali's house and probably towards the palace. And Nadali turns and says, "We shall put it in Evelyn's name, then, and be done with it."
Damn.
So, I'm asking this out of character, but I think this would be a good way to build up, or just some good character flavor. How is everybody feeling in this moment? Like, what are the thoughts?
I'm
going through
hyped. What are
your
you talking
guys'
about?
minds? Well,
Oh yeah.
okay.
Just another day in the neighborhood.
Okay.
I imagine the more
Relief.
people are like, yeah.
I was gonna
you
say
know,
relief.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about to throw all my ideals away.
Firebolt was coming.
I was about to
Geffen
throw it all
is
away for you,
relieved.
Siegfried.
But upset that it came to this.
Yeah. Ursula
Fair
He's
enough.
a changed man.
Ursula
boy.
is very surprised at how, much like Winkham's actually very surprised at how close she came to sacrificing her own ideals to protect someone. She's not like conscious of the fact that she's actually like close to you guys, but now it's kind of dawning on her that if like one of you died, she would actually be like she'd actually be really sad.
I can't believe how close
And-
Siegfried came to dying there.
And
Yeah.
I know. I was actually worried. I
That
was like,
market would have turned into a massacre if he
I
died.
was worried.
Just a
So I was like,
bloodbath.
I know how much Patrick loves Siegfried.
Seriously.
And if
Just
he has
so whack.
I
to,
was
if he has to
100%
roast
willing
Lucius
to kill
and those
Siegfried
knights would have
right
been
then and there.
obliterated if they killed Siegfried.
Just
Oh
would've
my
been-
god.
Just a
It
war
would've just
crime Just
It would've-
oath broken. Just all my
You'd
spell
have been like,
slots
you
used.
can only have rage once, Johnny. And I'd be like, nope. I
Special
have
occasion.
continuous
I don't
rage.
care if we have to go on the run
See,
after
it would've
that.
been-
I'm
it would've
killing
been the,
them.
It would have been the storybook. I would have built you guys. He's got his own son. He just got commissioned. And he's dead.
And I would
I
have
sent Ricardo a snap of my greatsword, and it said 4d8 plus 5, and I was like,
I sent Zach a snap back, and it was just really zoomed in Ties of Chaos.
Siegfried used all of his abilities too. Anyway, we're moving on from this. Siegfried,
yeah, I'd like to forget this.
Siegfried.
Wouldn't we all?
Siegfried coughs a little bit and he says,
Oh, does he cough up blood?
"Yes."
Like an anime character.
Yeah.
And he
See
says,
my hero.
I think the bastard nicked a lung. Ugh. I need a bed and a drink.
When
Oh,
did
my
wait?
wife.
No, never mind. I forgot how anatomy works. My brain went to if he drinks the drink, it'll go through his lung like a skeleton.
Makes sense.
We all
he-
know water goes into the ribs.
But then
He
I was
looks
like,
at-
wait.
He looks at the rest of you and he says, "Come on, there's something we need to talk about. I'm sure you can guess.
Yes, I would
Yeah,
say.
probably.
And let's find the boy."
Yeah, where did
Well,
he?
He went off towards Nadali's, and he really only knows one place in this whole goddamn city. There's not that.
Oh, he
far.
knows more than one place, but
He knows more than one place.
we
Okay.
haven't gotten
Okay.
there
Jesus Christ. Okay.
yet. Yes, well, try not to track too much blood onto the carpet, please, says Nadali as she turns around.
I had just had them cleaned.
Siegfried, he does not speak to you on the rest of the way back. He is holding his blood in as best as he can, but he is dripping a
Yeah.
little bit as you're walking on back.
Little juicy boy.
Don't say that, man.
Like
Did
a
any of
steak.
them roll below like a fucking 20 for those damages?
No,
I
so
don't
for
think
people
they
not
did.
looking, they rolled about almost 20s every time. So they were always hitting each other.
No wonder I went by.
And
so
they were
fucking
almost
fast.
rolling max damage every time they rolled.
It's true. That's why I got worried.
Which is why the fight
listen.
ended so quick. So the first hit was
And
like
this is-
23 damage.
Yeah.
This is Belle saying this. This isn't even Ursula saying this. That's called fucking fate. Okay.
I was
What are
expecting
the
another
goddamn
Richter
odds?
situation where one would
Yeah,
just keep
exactly. I
whiffing,
was-
but no,
I was worried
no,
about
this was
that too.
Every
this was-
single
What are
hit
the
was.
fucking odds? Of
I don't
that
think
happening?
any hit that was like a normal hit was below 20 damage. The bonuses missed, but the main damage they took each other down in like 4 hits.
Again,
I've already
Siegfried,
killed some people.
Siegfried is about 10 HP from death here, so yeah.
In there.
Yeah, it's too bad there were so many people around because I would have killed everyone.
It's true. I would have helped.
Bruh.
I would have
The
watched.
crazy thing is, here is the craziest thing.
Orphan Squad Massacre.
Because he's a swashbuckler, what's his name? Lucius
Lucius.
Lucius.
had a 18 for armor class, and it just didn't even matter.
Yeah, they were rolling. That was the most
Oh, that
ridiculous
makes sense why I
set
took
of
off as curious. Okay.
high rolls
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my entire life.
Eric knows. You don't wear
Yes.
armor when you're a swashbuckler.
It's true.
You're just so talented at blocking the attacks.
You're deft.
Dipping
He
and
also
dipping
didn't get to
and
use
diving.
about half of his rules because he just died so quick. So moving on.
Damn.
Those were some very decisive hits that happened.
Yeah. You make your way back to Nadal's
It was lightly
place.
raining. It was like the DMC. It was Virgil one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that. You guys seen it.
You guys obviously get some glances like, "What the hell?" when they see Siegfried.
I hiss at them.
I can pee now. I'll be back in a second. I had to not release my bladder to cheer on Siegfried.
It's like a movie.
You make your way back to Nadali's place, and Siegfried sits on the couch, and Nadali goes, "No. I'll be in my
I've had
room,
the-
dear."
You should have had those goddamn like plastic couch covers like Grandma has.
She turns to you all, and she says, "I'll be in my room, dear. Euphrates, please join me."
Can I come?
I think you have other business to
Yeah,
attend
no, I
to.
know Ursula did not actually say that. She would not be so fast.
Euphrates and Nadali climb the stairs. And as she's at the top of the stairs, she says, "Oh, and if Sigismund shows up, please send him up to my room as well." And she goes down the hall. And Siegfried,
Jolly's had a stressful
bloody,
fucking day.
battered, he has blood in his beard now, too, from coughing.
Ew. Oh, gross.
Sits down in
Siegfried, can
the on the couch.
we at least clean your wounds? Because those are gonna start stinking.
Yes, I suppose. And you see if Lady Nadali has any ale or wine.
Alright, I will start dressing his wounds. I am the medical practitioner.
Dude, what if you'd have died?
I
Don't.
know.
Don't.
Like I said, the
Ariston,
marketplace
I'm
would have been a
fucking excited
massacre.
So who's gonna see
Tides
to
of
the
Chaos, Avatar State, everyone would have
who's-
died.
who's gonna see to the drink?
I'll get it.
Don't miss!
You walk into Nadali's kitchen, and she has two decanters, one with some very strong-smelling beer, and another one with a very sweet-smelling red wine, so I suppose it's up to you to choose.
Take the red wine for
those
500, Alex.
You
Porque
said,
no
you
los
said beer
dos.
and wine?
Yes, the beer is like a
Take 'em both.
stout.
Oh, that sounds right up his alley.
Stereotypes much?
No, he's
Didn't
not.
you not just say earlier that Siegfried would drink... What was it?
Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Perhaps,
PBR?
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
pot and kettle.
Ursula whips out her, kind of field dressing medical kit and starts cleaning his wounds, just basically, because she knows that he said he didn't want him healed, so she's not
They
gonna
are
magically,
not-
but basically just,
Oh, I suppose this is maybe the first time you've seen. So Siegfried pulls off his shirt, and he has
Woo!
scars across his
Yeah.
back and his chest.
as
As
I'd
you do.
expect.
And the shape of
Old.
an American flag, even.
Shut
Old
up!
scars.
Do
He has
they
scars.
look, can I make,
Across his chest and his back. Hold on, one more thing. And you
Sorry.
notice he does have a tattoo across his
Oh.
upper arm next to his left shoulder.
the
It's the
heart
first
that's
time
in
you've
Mom.
seen it. No, all it says across it is Ballenor Fields. Ballenor.
Interesting. Does that ring a bell to any of you?
He's cursed.
Well,
I have no idea.
I feel like this
Okay.
is a Twilight Gap situation.
can I make it, do the scars seem to be in any particular pattern, or do they just look
They're-
like, the scars that
You don't need to make a
accumulate?
check for it. You can, because you're a medical professional. They're jagged like sword scars, like
Okay.
from
I
battle.
just wanted to know if you'd been, fucking tortured for being a deserter or not.
No.
Anyways, so yeah, I just started cleaning them. I'm, I don't know, can I, stitch these up, or...
They are going to require stitches, so you will have to make a
Yeah,
medicine
well,
check
I
for
just-
this.
I know that he said I didn't want him fucking healed, so I'm just trying to do what the big man said. Okay.
He's not in his right. He's angry.
I know.
I angry, no
God,
talk
I
to
have
me.
I have to get back into fucking Roll20. They did not want to
You
see
leave
the
the
fucking...
whole thing?
Well, no, I just exited out of the...
Why?
Because I didn't want to see the fucking... No, not exited out. I just, pressed back so the game wasn't launched. Because I didn't want to see the fucking rolls because I was scared.
Doesn't it show up if you switch tabs?
Well, I knew I'd hear the sound, and I knew the sound would make me want to look, and I know that I don't have any self-control, so...
Man.
Well, that fucking whoop! I'm absolutely just programmed to, respond.
Okay.
Sorry.
So if you want to stitch him up, roll
Yep,
a medicine
yep.
check to see how well you do these stitches.
Gee,
Oh
Jesus
wow,
Christ.
that's worse than I thought it
I
would
need a
be.
nap and a cigarette.
You do the best job that you can, but Lucius's wounds are they're pretty deep. He's been
Yeah, okay.
he cut him pretty
Can
well.
can I do any like healing word, or can I get a little like magic with it? Can you consent to that?
Are you asking him?
Yeah.
He holds up his hand. He says, "Hold off for now. I want to remember these for a bit."
Okay, fine. I understand. It's like when you get a hickey. I get it, and you don't want to cover it up with makeup. Okay.
I don't
So-
even think he knows what makeup is.
You hear a
can
voice
talk as
from
I
across the
work.
room. It says, "You have some answering, Sergeant." And Averland is now standing at the back of the room.
Wait, why is his fucking voice so deep?
He's mad.
He's mad. Also, you can ask Enderman that one.
What the fuck?
Wait, what?
What happened?
Oh, you know.
How'd you make his voice deeper?
Off-screen character development things
I
happen.
know. Okay, Ricardo's actually. If you don't tell me, I'm gonna make Patrick tell me because I really want to know what happened.
I'll tell you in character. You gotta wait.
Good. Tell me in character right now.
No.
Ugh!
You have some answering to do, Sergeant. And Siegfried nods and he says, "Yes, Averland, I do." Alright. Lucius wasn't lying. Lass.
Yes.
I haven't been in the guard for 30 years. It's closer to about 25.
Oh,
I did
we can
desert.
forgive you for that. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that, or?
I suppose I owe it to you, yes. This was...
Is Evelyn gonna come sit down?
No,
She's gonna
Everlyn
direct-
is standing with his arms crossed and kind of leaning against one of the pillars in Nadali's house and just kind of staring at him very angrily.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "This was... I would have been 23 at the time. Yes, I was 23. A few years after I had married Sarah, I was still a von Siegfried, but I was in the guard."
So, your family didn't care that you married an Isvanian peasant? Or
He
did they
shakes
not
his head.
know?
No, they knew. It was a stain against the family's honor, but Eidolon, my father, with convincing from my mother, managed to overlook it.
Mm.
I held some stronger views in the back then. I saw the city-states to the south as more of a buffer between us and Istvan, or they could have been. They would have been on Istvan's flank, you see. A way to give them pause if they had ever chose to go to war again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He coughs a little bit, and some more flecks of blood go to his beard.
Ick.
And he says, "Master Saris, could I have a swig of that?"
Yeah. I was just about to ask. When does he want it?
He takes a long swig of the stout and he sets it down. He says, "To make up for marrying Sarah, I decided to join the guard. I felt it would bring some honor back to my name and to my family's name. I was stationed in Caliban, so I knew what Istvan was like. I had seen them. I had seen Istvanian cultists. They're a little bit more prominent in Caliban than they are anywhere else, I suppose, being so close to the border. But I did not agree with, well, Cadia had a Kel at the time, a queen.
Yeah.
Kel Kasarina.
Oh, that's a dope name.
I felt that she was too hesitant to deal with Istvan and its increasing amount of threat, should we say. I petitioned my officer at the time to take it up with the Kelkin, as they were known then, to see if we could maybe do some strong arm of the city-states to try to give Istvan pause. She disagreed. And I was to be censured for it. Punished.
What is... Okay.
demotion for it, because I was raising such havoc about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a raid, an Istvanian raid. It's been swept under the rug. Nobody likes to remember it, because, again, Kasarina did not want war with Istvan at the time.
Mm.
I raised hell again. I was punished again. It's selfish, but I deserted. I went to the south. The very people I sat and railed against and said that we should annex. Well, I joined them. It was a small band. Guards, basically, for a small city-state. Bellinor, as it was called.
It's still in Cadia, right? Or is this in by south? Does he mean like Isfahan?
He shakes his head. The city-states to the south that border
Oh,
us and Istvan.
sorry, I failed my surface geography class.
I guess I could point out. It's not a complete border with Istvan. Like, it doesn't stretch across all of Caliban. It's like half, and then the other half is a bunch of city-states that don't. They're not powerful. They're not They're not united or any way. They're a lot of petty kingdoms, I guess you could imagine they were.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So, like, they would own a city and maybe, like, the surrounding area, and that would be their lands, air quote. That's what they see as theirs.
Their kingdom, quote unquote.
Siegfried nods and he says, I joined a small city-state, Bellinor, as it was known. Do you know anything of the Istvanian war against the city-states? This would have been, obviously, before this. About, I suppose, 20-odd-ish years ago. Istvan, for whatever reason, genocidal or religious, decided to invade the city-states, many of them down to the south there. That's why I know so much about fighting Istvanians. I was in that war.
Oh.
Bellinor was shattered, burned down completely. All of its soldiers put to the sword. We lost at the Bellinor fields, and he indicates over to his arm with the tattoo. Like the damned deserter that I am, I fled after the army was shattered.
Damn.
I fled after the army was shattered and the men were being executed. I made my way back to Cadia at the perfect time, for the Kasarina had passed and Creed had risen. The youngest Kassar ever in Cadia, as a matter of fact. Barely out of his 20s. And the rest, as they say, is history. I rejoined up with the Calabinian noble troops. My past was swept under the rug again. I moved Sarah and Evelyn on down. I was disowned by the von Siegfried, so I dropped the von from my name. And I've been all over Cadia since. And then I met you all.
What's the look on Averlin's face right now?
Oh yeah, I want to get a reaction from Averlin.
As Siegfried's telling the story, he kind of shakes his head every now and then, and his face hasn't really changed. He seems very upset.
Well, this may be biased of me, but I, for one, am glad that you did not die. The way I see it, and I know you're not gonna see it the same way, but I'm a little bit more of a pragmatist, and I don't think you can be blamed for reverting to your basic instinct and trying to survive.
I fought, lass. I fought at the battle. I didn't just leave them to die. In fact, I was prepared to.
That's what I figured.
But I don't know. It didn't feel right.
Listen. I mean, you regret those decisions, right?
I remember them all, lad. The ones who fell under my command in Bellinor. Every single one of
Oh,
them.
jeez, come on,
Great.
They, weren't much older than Averland. Some of them were younger. Not even men yet. So yes, lad, I regret those decisions.
As, you know,
A former
personally,
criminal.
yeah.
Shut up.
Personally, I mean, we gotta live with these decisions that we made in our past, you know? Like, what's done is done. It's about what's, like, ahead of you and fixing it and amending for them. And, well, in the short time I've known you, you've done a pretty good job of, well, being a better person, but from what it sounds like.
Well, thank you, lad. I don't think I've fully atoned for it, but thank you.
I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, you probably never will, but everyone has things like that in our past, and anyone who says they don't is a liar. I saw things I didn't like in the Underdark, and instead of trying to change them, I just left. I wasn't in a war, but I did sacrifice my own personal beliefs because I knew I'd be persecuted if I spoke out against what was going on. And I just left. And they're still messing with the natural order of things, and they're still making slaves out of beings that were once alive. And so I'll just have to live with that I didn't try to change what was going on. And I'm going to be living for a lot longer than you are, hopefully.
I know I'm old, lass, but you don't need to bring it up.
Well, I'm just saying you are a human.
No.
Me
We
too.
just
I will
all-
also outlive you, Siegfried, if it makes you feel any better.
We just all
Not
have...
really, lass.
we all have these things in our lives, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I understand that. I lied to you all. I apologize. I lied to Averland. And Averland has not said anything. He's still just angrily staring.
Mm-hmm.
But that brings me to the final thing. And Siegfried goes down to one knee in front of you all, and he says...
Ursula makes a slightly exasperated noise because she was in the middle of stitching something up.
Yeah, and the stitch is bleeding now again because he's moved.
God damn it.
And give me a sec. I have to get this notebook because there's lore in it.
Oh god, you wrote it down. You wrote it down.
No, I wrote lore that
Oh,
he needs
okay.
to have, but...
Loot and or lore.
Loot
as the
and or
kids would
lore.
say.
I just can't find the right notebook that I wrote it down in because I have, 5 of them. Siegfried, why does your backstory have to be across 4 different notebooks?
I think that's a you problem, Pastor.
Think
It is
about
a
it.
me problem.
You need a Siegfried notebook.
I do need. I honestly just need a book that has everybody's lore into it besides like
Yeah.
4 different books. But, I've been making do with 2 composition books, 2 notebooks,
What?
actually 3 notebooks.
This is just how my brain works, but I feel like a Google Doc would be much easier at this point.
Yeah, it would. I'm gonna.
Or
One
like a
of these
Google
days.
fold. A
Writing
Google
feels
folder
better though.
with really? My hand
Yes.
hurts when I write too much.
It makes you remember better.
Yeah, but it's way easier to find stuff. Whatever. I'm not going to critique Matthew's methods.
I mean,
do
you
agree.
You could always like take pictures of this thing after you
I
read it.
do agree with Ricardo that I prefer writing it down because it helps me remember it a lot better.
Yeah.
Because
but the organization becomes a problem.
The organization does.
You could always like I don't know if you have a scanner or anything. You could always scan the pages in.
Well, what I'm going to do eventually here is I'm just going to get a brand new notebook and transfer everything to like all of the lore to that notebook.
Patrick.
Get one of those fat like 5 notebooks. I have one of those.
Well, you also you know what you could do is there like you could get one of those like three wing binder
binders.
like folders, and you could just like get
snap
some
stuff in there.
Page dividers.
Actually,
just
push him.
I have a folder that has a bunch of the old lore into it in case I ever need to pull it out.
Makes sense.
Whatever, this is taking too long. Siegfried goes to one knee and he says, "I swear on the names of my lost soldiers at Bellinor, whose names will come later, I will tell the truth from here on out, and I swear to serve you into the future as your guardian and your escort."
Right.
And I would like to make one request of you.
What would that be?
Allow me to carry your banner.
Funny you should mention that.
You got it, Dad.
Ursula has a small but very genuine smile.
Kieran and Ansel, you would know that for a Cadian to carry another's banner is the highest honor one can grant you.
Yep.
Because
I almost teared up there.
he's giving up his own honor for you, for fighting for you, basically.
Damn.
Siegfried is our standard bearer.
I'm a little emotional right now, I won't lie.
And he nods. And he says, or he says that. You guys haven't given a response yet, I think.
Ursula,
No.
Ursula is...
Wait till you see the banner.
Yes, it's very funny that you mentioned that.
Waiting for someone to burst through the door with the banner.
It's ready!
Of course. We're gonna need
He's my
someone
dad,
to carry...
so.
We're gonna need someone to carry that hulking flag, and it's definitely not gonna be me, so...
He nods, and he says, "Well, that's for you. Averland."
Oh no, I'm gonna cry!
My friend, Averland, Rogel. And Siegfried
first name.
stands up, and he walks over.
That's what I did.
And he says, "Since I'm going to be carrying the banner," he grabs his halberd, and he turns to Averland. He says,
"Oh no.
I can't really use this now, can I?" And he holds his halberd out to Averland.
Averland leveled up.
He says, "So I'm giving it to you, Rogel. And from here on out, I'm not your sergeant anymore. I'm just another soldier fighting alongside you for these damned heroes here."
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Not yet.
And finally, after so long, you see Averland, his resolve shakes a little bit. And he holds his hand out, and he grabs the halberd from Siegfried.
Yes.
And he says,
Yes.
"Oh, you damned old fool. All right."
I'm just picturing, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just picturing, like, both their hands on it, like, Siegfried's below and Averland's
Yeah,
above.
dude, it's like Shazam.
About to get so emotional.
Oh, Zach's
Zach
gone.
died.
Zach, it was too much for Zach. He can't handle it.
Zach, you at the
No.
party. Oh,
Zach
okay.
died. What happened?
Oh, you couldn't hear Bell.
I couldn't hear her again, so I was like, I'm gonna leave as soon as Patrick's done talking for a second there.
Yes.
So he
I didn't wanna
transfers the
miss out.
halberd over to Averland.
Yes.
Thank you, Belle.
I can't look at that. I'm
Cries
playing
in
Overwatch.
Spanish.
Oh, okay. I know that picture.
It's a nice moment here. And then you hear
Yeah.
a knock at the door.
And a meow.
Hello.
You open the door and it's a
Nadali's
cat.
Nadali's cat, who you haven't seen. before.
Opens the door.
Lucy,
And-
ruining the moment!
And a moment later, you hear from up the stairs. Well, will you please let him in? That's Sigismund, I'm sure.
It's Lucy.
I go and let him in and point him upstairs.
Damn it. God damn it.
That can wait a moment, Sigismund says as he steps inside. There is somebody here to see all of you, as a matter of fact.
Who? What?
And he turns he turns to the side, and you see, standing barely above his knee, a halfling with violet eyes.
Hello,
Okay.
Nathaniel,
Hi.
a boy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
The banner's here.
he
Yes.
pushes
God
his
damn it.
spectacles up and he says, yes,
God
your
damn it.
banner is
I knew it was. I was bracing myself, and it still hurt.
your banner is completed.
He's
Uh,
technically 50,000 years old, so it's not 50.
Carl Weezer ass halfling here.
You wish it was as cool as Carl Weezer.
I wish he was cool, Carl.
and stepping from around the corner, you see none other than the banner bearer himself for Castle Creed, Arterion. But this time, he's got a black
Yeah.
field with gold
There it is.
symbols, a brown handle, and silver-bladed
Yeah.
halberd banner
So
for you all.
Siegfried.
And in the corner, because it's a black field, it's white instead, you see one more symbol. It looks like...
Nani?
Where is it? I don't have it saved!
Oh fuck.
I don't have it saved! No! Okay, it's the Greek omega. It's the Greek
It's the-
omega letter. In
Oh,
white.
cool.
Okay.
That's the
Is
We got the
that-
watermark.
That's Creed's symbol.
Oh,
Is the
okay.
Greek omega. The white.
You sounded concerned.
in-
What do you think it was?
It's
I
in
thought it was like you're getting a new party member. Ha ha ha.
it's in
No, he said he was
white.
gonna put his watermark on a banner.
It's in white because it's on a black banner. It's in white in the corner. Normally it'd be black, but
Yeah, I'm getting a call from Scam Likely.
Could it
right
be
now.
black with a gold outline?
No, we already settled this.
no,
It's
I
too
already
late
settled
now.
this. It's white.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunate.
And Arterion looks at all of you and he says, "Which one of you will bear the banner?"
Everyone look at Siegfried like Scooby Doo.
Yeah. So Siegfried, how do you like the how do you like the banner?
Save it up to the goddamn notes in the chat.
Siegfried smiles and he says, "It's very appropriate, lass. I think."
We just wanted to give you
Well,
your
guess what?
halberd
Well-
back.
Well, Averlin has his halberd. How's your halberd now? So I guess you need a new one.
Yeah. So to speak.
Siegfried smiles and he says, "Well, I can't carry a halberd and fight while holding the banner at the same time. And you will not need to," says Arterion.
Nani?
Huh?
And Arterion pulls out a large chest plate from around the corner. And he folds
Don't say it.
the bottom of the banner in, and
No.
he slides it into a piece on the back of the chest plate, so that it will sit.
Bruh.
I
Above-
nutted.
It will sit. Whoever wears the armor, the banner will sit upon their back, and it'll
Let's
rise
go!
up like a Roman vexilla, if you know what that
I'm
is.
Yeah!
smiling so
Yeah!
fucking good right now.
I clap when I see the banner on the chest.
I'm breathing heavily.
So this was why I was going to reveal it ahead of time, but that armor that Siegfried's wearing in the newest picture, that's supposed to be his new armor, and the banner would sit above his head.
Ooh.
Good. He's a big flag man. Good.
And Siegfried looks at Averland, who offers the halberd on back to Siegfried.
Not yet.
He's more effective with that fucking mace.
Listen.
And
Yes.
Siegfried dons the armor. Although he pulls the banner out so that doesn't hit Nadali's ceiling.
Like an umbrella.
Someone but fucking before someone's always gonna have to put the flag in his goddamn back before we head
That's
out
alright.
anywhere.
Small price to pay
dude,
for
suit up.
halberd use.
Arterion
Froggy
nods, and he steps
froggy
inside,
chair.
and he closes the door behind him, and he looks at Sigismund, who also nods, and Sigismund says, "If you'll excuse me, I should go speak to Lady Nadali. I heard she was expecting me." And he
Yep.
Yeah.
half kind of jogs up the stairs,
You do you, man.
and Arterion turns to all of you, and he says, "Now then, matter at hand. Cassar Creed would like to know where you're going."
Damn.
A carriage is ready to bring you to either to any
Good
of the provinces.
question. So I
So
say we go
let's-
to the north because that'd be badass.
That's what I was gonna say. I was
Would
gonna
be
say
bad.
to
I
the
would love to
north.
go to the north. I would love to go to the
Yeah,
north.
we're going to the north.
Let's go to the north, baby.
I suppose.
To the
Eric?
north.
Eric, what's your thoughts?
Wait, is it cold
Well,
up
I'm
there?
not gonna be like, look,
Oh,
guys.
it's fucking cold up there, mate.
Dude, it's snowing.
Eric, what are your thoughts? Or Geffen says,
Yeah, what's
what
your
say you?
thoughts?
I mean, I got personal business in Tanith, but like saving the world sounds like a good. Like, I mean, let's go
Yeah.
north. Fuck it. Like,
Yeah. It's cold up there. Get your jackets, boys. We're going on vacation.
It's the opposite of a beach episode.
It's gonna be like Cool Runnings.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
feel the rhythm.
Everyone get in the toboggan.
It's gonna be like Mighty Ducks.
Arterion nods, and he turns to Garrow, and he says, or not Garrow, Nathaniel, excuse me, and he says, "I will go get their provisions ready and mounted on the carriage. I know that you have one more task with them." And
Hmm? What?
Nathaniel nods, and Arterion steps out, and Nathaniel turns to you. I kind of hate doing this voice. Yes, there is the matter of your banner. Now,
What about it?
Cassar Creed has seen it fit to bless your banner, and I am here to do that.
Ooh.
However, the magic that will be cast upon it, the banner can only hold one blessing.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And my power is still limited. I can have it inspire you to greater acts of bravery, or I can have it shield you from nefarious spells. Which would you like?
Mm,
Personally, I say spells, but
yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
also say
I agree.
spells.
We got Eric to fucking do that.
We got a lot of damage.
sure, I'd rather we have something to like, help us ward
Defensive.
off spells. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
He nods, and he holds his hand out to the banner, and he chants in Cadian. Those of you who speak Cadian, that would be Kieran and Anzel. He is
She does this. Yeah.
he is saying a basically it's an inspirational, almost religious speech that is warding away evils from the banner, basically.
Love it.
Right.
Now, out of character,
All
your
for it.
banner will give you all advantage against fear saving rolls. Like
hell yeah.
trying to cast
Pog.
frighten on you.
That is a
I
pog.
actually like
As
that.
long as you're within 30 feet of it.
That's good too, because like if we're like feeling shaken, and it's like storytelling wise, we're feeling shaken. We're like, I don't know if I can do this, and we look at the banner and we're like, yeah.
That also,
no.
In
Dorime.
Shut up.
in story-wise, you notice that the banner begins to sheen and shimmer a little bit as it sways in the wind now after the spell
Magic
has
banner,
been
magic
cast.
banner.
And this is why it was so important that you guys came up with the banner.
Magic banner, magic banner. Dorime.
Alright.
Yes, now, I believe Arterion is waiting for you. I will see you all later. This is Nathaniel. And he turns around and he looks up and he has to stand on his tippy toes to open the door and push it open.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I could have used Mage Hand if you asked, man.
I could have just like walked over there.
Nah, dude, I'm lazy.
Yeah, I guess he's proud.
And he steps outside.
Yeah, he's a halfling. He's probably used to it.
Yeah, I feel like you get used to that really easy.
Nadali descends from upstairs. Little bedhead going on. She says,
What's up, dude?
darlings, I will see you off.
Okay.
Cool. Are you gonna christen our carriage with like wine?
Yeah, just fucking.
She shakes her head no.
Well,
Says,
champagne, not wine.
I
But
must
it
prepare
was-
my own self.
and-
I must
What?
meet with some agents to discuss Tanith, since it seems you all are going to the north.
Ah, fair enough. Do what you gotta do, man.
Woman.
Man is a
Gender
gender
neutral.
neutral term.
Same like just dude.
I know. Siegfried slides the banner to where it's supposed to be on his back and steps outside.
Picturing it now, I'm picturing, when Brigitte ults and like her little
Yeah,
fucking,
no, it's that.
like her little flag
Yeah.
goes up. That's fucking adorable.
Yes, cool.
Siegfried is also, he's kind of shaking his shoulders, he's loosening his shoulders a little bit underneath the armor, and his stitches are still rubbing against the armor.
I didn't even
Yeah, do you want us to
fucking finish.
heal you now? Or like...
Good
In the
point.
carriage. You can cast it in the carriage, it only hurts quite a bit, but...
This is a flesh wound.
What I'm more concerned about is this damned armor. I'm not quite used to it. And you notice his armor is actually, it's like a heavy plate versus the cuirass he's used to wearing. So
Ah.
Okay.
He's Transformer Siegfried now.
Yeah, burr, burr, burr.
with his halberd in one hand, his crossbow across his back, and his mace in his hip, he steps outside. Averlin follows. I'm assuming you all-
Averlin.
yeah, you all
Averlin
follow
follow
that.
as well.
He's cool. Yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna speed this along because
Yeah.
Bell's gotta go. Nadali
Oh no,
leads
I'm
you.
not. My dad's picking me up at like 5:30, so.
Oh, okay.
Averlin's vibing.
Well, Nadali leads you to a carriage awaiting you, and
Oh, my
the
butt cheek,
horses you notice
Oh, there you
are very big draft horses. They're like yeah,
Yeah.
Bell knows. They're meant
exactly.
for
Tell me the
and you
breed.
notice that they're very shaggy, so they're meant for cold weather.
Oh, the Clydesdales.
Shut the fuck up.
No, Eric's
And-
right. Let the man speak.
Arterion is standing outside, standing
I only
beside.
stand for Scooby-Doo puns.
Arterion is standing beside the carriage, and you notice your carriage driver is a goat-headed man, a beast.
Oh
Nice.
shit!
What?
And
Is
He's
it
the
dude
goat,
from
some might say.
I'm
Goated.
leaving this fucking party.
Goaded.
and he looks down from you, or he looks down at you, and he just gives a bit of a nod. And Arterion turns to you and he says, "This is Transgore. He is of the Silverjaws tribe."
Oh, hell yeah.
Howdy.
What's up, man?
I see.
How you doing?
Don't know how
Probably
I feel
makes
about
Kieran,
this.
yeah.
What?
Why is that?
He's on the
What is-
wrong side.
Oh,
You're on the wrong side of history.
there will
The
be no goat heads in the future.
Transgore is of the Silverjaws. The Silverjaws, the Sons of Roos, and the Grey Hunters hate each other. So.
As you
like
do
a
when you're,
three-way feud.
Yeah, dude.
Well-
Well,
it's like the three houses.
The
in Fire
Silverjaws,
Emblem.
if you remember, they were the ones who
Yeah, they
are
lost.
having a champion go up against.
Their side B because they suck. And then me and
Side
Johnny
B
are
'cause
side
they
A.
suck.
If you remember,
We're side A
Excited to
because we're
learn
great.
the, get dive like, cause like I've only
I'm ready for the Pico
outside
to
of
put on.
the council, like I don't know. I'm excited for the fucking.
Do our
pettiness of
provisions
these tribes.
include-
Oh, I'm
Um,
excited for it. I just don't know. I fear it's gonna make things worse.
Do our provisions
absolutely.
include winter clothes?
Arterion nods his head,
Hell yeah.
and
Let's go!
he says, "There are thick cloaks
Yes.
waiting for you on the inside that should help."
I love when
protect you
animes
from the
change to
cold.
winter season.
Yep. I know. I am not fucking joking. I know he says cloaks, but like I want you all to tell me how
It's a
your.
Pico, obviously.
I want
and
you
a
all to
beret.
tell me how your outfit is totally changing.
And Transgore
I'm wearing the
leans over,
same coat I always wear.
and he notices Kieran, because Kieran has silver on him, so he knows you're part of the Grey Hunters, Kieran. He says,
Little bitch!
he grunts.
Little bitch.
He grunts and he says, "We should get going. The season of ice is going to roll in while we are out on the roads." Kieran and Ansel, you know that the season of ice is when the blizzards pick up all across.
Oh, so like what happened last night?
Hell,
It's like Dairy Queen. It's like Dairy Queen everywhere. There's just blizzards.
Yes,
all around.
but-
Upside down blizzards.
Picture
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Kieran and Ansel would know that the season of ice is particularly dangerous because ice almost instantly will form on the roads and get carriages stuck. It's also when the dire wolves of the north begin hunting
Yes!
more.
Dire
Let's
wolves!
go.
Zach, you know what we gotta do!
Oh, I know. No pets, please.
Ansel.
No.
Dude, I got that chew toys!
Ansel,
Boy!
as a noted hunter, Ansel,
I
as a
kill
noted
those,
hunter,
bitch.
you would know that the dire wolves of the north are huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
How huge are we talking?
Like
Big.
12 feet tall.
Like
No.
almost as
Oh,
tall.
shit.
They can be almost
They're like
as tall
bears.
they can be almost as tall as a man. Yes.
Yeah, they're like 6, 7 feet
That
tall.
That means I can
tall.
ride the wolf, Zach.
You can't
Oh,
though
yeah.
because I kill those. That's what my job
We
was.
ride the wolves into battle.
To
I'm very
describe
excited for
to
this.
describe the carriage, it is very insulated, and you notice that there are metal pieces that are like hammered over where the vulnerable parts of the carriage would
Huh?
be.
Who said wait?
Me.
What's up?
The letter. Did we deliver
Yeah,
it?
I was gonna bring that up when he was done.
Yeah, let's
Oh.
talk to him.
Yeah.
No, he's coming with us. So I don't
Siegfried's
think.
letter.
Yeah,
Siegfried's letter.
Yeah, I wasn't giving it back to him when he was bleeding everywhere.
Well, I don't know.
We should deliver it.
Yeah, we can deliver it now. Now that we
Yeah.
finally got his wounds good,
Yeah, let's do that.
Siegfried nods and
I'll give him the letter back.
He looks. He takes it back and he looks at Transgore, and Transgore just shrugs and he says, "We can give it to a passing merchant on the road. They could bring it." And Siegfried nods and he says, "That's fine for me, lads. They can probably get it to where it needs to
As long
go."
as it's not Kravos.
Yeah, good point.
Probably trying to sell a letter.
Can we do a drive-by on Kravos on the way out?
Drive by with a fireball.
Yeah, dude.
Wanna know the brain rot in my fucking mind?
What?
When you guys were, when Petra's like, yeah, he's holding a letter, and every time after we were like, the letter, I just kept picturing the fucking Smash invite. That's the brain rot I have right now.
Whoa, Smash Brothers?
That's the brain
Siegfried's
rot I
gonna be in
have.
Smash.
Think about that goddamn Joker.
The inside of the
To
carriage.
steal the greatest treasure of all.
The inside of the carriage is it's insulated, so there's enough space for a couple people to sleep in there at night. But there are bedrolls that are very heavily like furred to. If you're gonna have to sleep outside, it's probably it'll do its best
Can I
to
give
keep
you the look
warm.
for the whole trip for me?
Can you what?
I'm gonna get in the bedroll and roll up like Aizawa.
The whole trip.
Stay like that. Yeah.
I'm riding the carriage. I'm riding the top of the carriage so I can kill
Surfing
all
it?
the wolves. Well, no, like I'm sitting on like the next to him.
Oh,
riding.
you're like on top.
There
What
are
kind of
close.
On top. What do you mean?
All you gotta do is follow the damn train, CJ.
Siegfried pulls on his leather gloves and he dons the cloak on the inside. He takes the banner and he very carefully sets it in a corner of the carriage. And he sits next to it. And he begins polishing his halberd.
Actually, I'm gonna ride the back seat though, where I face the back of the carriage, like off the back.
And because I want to end this because I want to eat.
Yeah,
there isn't
yeah.
going to be downtime between here and the
Makes sense. It's
north,
cold.
because well, no, it's going to be more like you just have casual conversation that doesn't really amount to anything. You are told
Casual
it'll
sex.
take a week to make it to the north.
Cool.
You're going straight to Kassar Fenris, the capital of the north.
Oh, cool.
5 days pass. It is the middle of the night, and you can hear through the carriage the howling blizzard winds on the outside.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say wolves.
And
Same.
even though
I'm gonna be like, oh, we got a
Already?
pet nearby. Ricardo, let's go. Get the two
And-
Toy
toys.
out.
you're rolling along, it's the middle of the night, or it's nighttime
Rolling.
when the carriage stops.
It's my time to shine, baby. I'm gonna kill a wolf.
No, we're gonna have one as a pet.
Nope, not in my party.
The carriage stops.
Carriage stops.
Okay.
Abruptly stops, I should point out.
Skirt. We start.
I don't think carriages skirt.
No, they can.
Horse drifting, man.
I shout
Yeah.
towards
Do I see anything off the back since I'm sitting
the
outside?
goat man. I forget his name already. I'm so sorry.
The
Transgore.
wind is it's so like aggressive and like the snow is blowing around. From the back of the carriage, you actually can't see to the front of the carriage, and besides, it's like tall anyway, so you'd have to like look over, like crawl up to the front to look over and look down to see the driver.
Can we yell at him?
Yeah, you can try yelling at him.
Yeah, I yell. I say, "What happened?"
You hear
What
nothing.
happened?
You hear no reply.
I crawl over the carriage to the front seat.
You see a bloody mess where Transgore was just at.
Good.
Oh,
Yes!
sick.
Okay.
Stranded in the
Also,
woods, brother.
the horses are gone.
Are you kidding me,
Okay.
man?
New
That's
question.
not good.
Let's
Because
go.
I'm an expert, can I tell that it was a wolf attack?
Yes.
Ah!
You see
It's time.
you see the telltale signs of a dire
We've
wolf
been waiting months to
attack.
kill some wolves.
And
Crazy.
Ansel, when you see the bloody mess, you look up. Everybody's still on the inside of the carriage, and
Yep.
scattered all around, you see red eyes staring at you from the dark, and that's where we end.
How many?
Oh,
Wait.
hell yeah.
Over a dozen.